welcome in. It is another beautiful day at the tavern. We had a couple days here where it kind of cooled off again, so I was like, oh cool, summer's not that bad. And then today it was like absolutely blazing, melting. So I'm like, how little clothing can I wear that's acceptable? Not that kind of stream. Anyway, hope y'all are doing well and not melting. It probably doesn't help that I keep drinking coffee by like, I don't know, the liter. This is my second coffee today. Some days are just extra coffee days. Even like, I'm not even like tired. I don't know. It's really hitting the spot right now. Hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. Waves. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We're going to finish up this Fire Elemental Fox. And I've decided there's going to be two different versions because it has occurred to me that this Fire Elemental Fox is just a normal fox with flames around it. I'm like, So I need to add some fire to the actual fox. So we'll have a normal fox and a more fire one. I'll show you guys how I do that. Alrighty, I was going to do something and I can't remember. Oh, I remember. We hit our funding goal yesterday, which is awesome. So let me go ahead and reset that. Yeah, D20 of Destiny rolls I've now made $7 because they're kind of valuable. Really cool stuff happens. It's supposed to be like a cute little thing, like, oh, like donate $5 and like I do a little thing. And I'm like, nope. It becomes a whole big cool thing. So yes. But the tavern pet's still the same. It's every donation combines to the same goal, 35. I feel like that's a really good number recently. All right, let me get this going. Boop, reset. We are empty. All right. Right? Isn't this elegant? Oh, the names are normal again, aren't they? I don't know. YouTube's doing its best. Yeah, I'm just finally M3DM again. Good, good. Miss M3DM in my own, which is true, but like, I don't know. They said it's because, oh, M3DM's already taken. I was like, by who? That's so niche. Eloa, I really appreciate that you keep pointing out like my recent models or like have that elegance to them because I am like obsessed with beauty. And it's like, okay, what do you mean by beauty? And I don't mean like, I guess it is somewhat traditional, just like, I don't know, things that are aesthetically pleasing and going together. But when I think of beauty, like for me, it has to do with a lot of like S-curves and stuff. I don't know. There's just like a certain flow to things. I should be very, very clear. I'm not about to get lip filler and stuff. Can you guys imagine me with like giant lips? Look ridiculous. Oh my gosh. I just think, well, you've been untouched through this whole username debacle. I don't know why. I don't think I've talked about that very much before. Like, you know, like beauty is in the eye of the beholder and stuff. But that is like a defining trait in my personality. I guess it makes sense as an artist, but I do mean like beauty, like in all regards. Acting in a beautiful way. Like, what does that mean? And I don't mean like, oh, like not belching at the table, though that isn't very beautiful, I guess. I guess it's just like a certain, I don't know, to me it's a cohesiveness, you know? Like I have a friend who is just a hot mess. God, I adore her. Her name is Sydney. She's wonderful. She's wonderful. But anyway, she is just a hurricane of a person sometimes. And she's beautiful. She really is. Yes, it's a certain subtlety in class to your recent models that's elevated them. Ah, thank you, thank you. I feel like I'm expressing something. Sean, beauty in the eye of the beholder. Beholder. We're starting strong with the puns. And that one's pretty on the nose. Gorgeous. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing good. Welcome in, welcome in. Let's go ahead and get through some of our housekeeping. I'm trying to figure out where I can put my coffee where I won't punch it off the table. You guys know what I mean by that, right? Like, I don't know. I have my desk set up in a very certain way, and I have it like muscle memory. So if I put a new obstacle in my way, I will just yeet my coffee off the table. Okay. First things first is I haven't talked about the freebie in a little bit. Here is today's freebie. This is someone's player's character as a request. It was a death cleric, and it really just came out cool. I read the request for this, and I'm not gonna lie, I was like, this is lame. I didn't want to do it. And I was like, cool, it's just like a gnome or something. And then I actually started sculpting it, and I'm like, this is the coolest character ever. And like, I put so much time into this. I kept putting all these little details and stuff. I don't know why that yeah, he's a wizard. Yeah, halfling wizard. There we go. He's not a gnome. Look at that nose. That's a halfling. But anyway, Really enjoyed making this one. Also, the Summer Art Fest now has more prompts. This week it is Spectral, Necromancer, Eldritch, and Overgrown. And don't forget, like, you don't have to make some epic huge project. You can just make a cute little something. That totally counts. Any medium is welcome. Every skill level is welcome. What else? I think that's it. I'm hanging out in Livestream Hub today. There you go. Beautiful. I'm going to kind of just take my time this morning and sip on my coffee and hang out with y'all. We will do the art and we will do the sculpting, but first, second coffee. Micah said, I am melting. My room is 10 degrees or more hotter than outside. Oh my lord. Even with 3 fans help cool and one blowing across frozen water balls to chill the air it pushes. I'm so sorry, Micah. At that point, just be naked. Like, no clothes. Just like, it's fine. You're in your room. Whatever helps. Take a cold shower. Just Lingual says, I like to balance my drinks around my electronics because I'm an emotional terrorist. Someone put that in tavern quotes. Damn, that's a good one. Sean has a story for us. Sean says, my sorcerer once fought a vampiric beholder, homebrew, of course, and she did decently. Actually, we all did in that combat. It was a second combat in level 10 or 11 dungeon crawl, which is why it wasn't a vanilla beholder. We were a smidgen too strong for that. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I had one of my first campaigns. I wasn't DMing, but I was a player. Our party was just super overpowered. We had someone that was playing as like a seer or something. I can't remember what class they were, but my DM regretted it immediately. Long story short, they could fly and it was just a nightmare. It was great. Micah says, I suffer, but persevere. We're rooting for you. Where is Tavern Quotes at? It is under project references. It gets buried every now and then. Oh, my face is in the way. It's right here, under project references. A divination wizard? No, it was like similar in function, but oh my god, I cannot remember what that class was called. It was magic based. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Alrighty. That's enough coffee for right now. Hey, Empress. I wish I was a seer so I could go... I could see me spraining my lower back. Ouch. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. My lips that are obviously sunburned, I have solved that mystery thanks to Jared yesterday, are doing better. Again, I was like, how come none of the rest of me sunburned? I'm like, because it was the heaping globs of sunscreen. Thank you. That's just such a good quote. Thank you, Shans. I've just never heard that because I'm an emotional terrorist. Odd. Love it. Alrighty, y'all. So we're working on this Fire Fox Elemental, which is quite literally just a fox with flames around it, and I can do better than that. So we are going to hide the flames for right now. No fire. And what I'm going to do is make a normal version of the fox first, because it's awesome. I do need to fix these feet that are kind of odd. Can somebody post some pictures in the Livestream Hub today of fox feet? I just need some fox paw references because I know they don't look quite like this. I'm not going to get them exact, but I definitely need to do better than this. Alright, so I'm just double checking all of my curves and angles and stuff, and I'm going to make sure that everything is ready to be Dynameshed down, because once you Dynamesh, you cannot go back. It is forever. So I'm using Move Topological to just make sure that my silhouette lines look good, the body is making sense, doing body things. I don't know what I want to do with this arm right here. It looks, everything looks pretty darn good. I don't want to get too nitpicky with myself. I might add a little bit more substance to these limbs here. I like being on the wider side, then a little too skinny. And that's because these are all for 3D printing. And this is such a gorgeous, cool model. It really is. I want to make sure it's nice and sturdy. Layering up some fur here down the belly. And then anything like this, we'll get some seams going. Oh, thank you, Dislingual. Yeah, they're so narrow. Oh, the front and rear feet are different. Of course they are. Of course they are. That pose I love so much. It is the quintessential fox pose. I was going for something a little bit more elegant, but this won't be the last fox that I sculpt, I'm sure. So I'll get to do that at some point. So again, I'm just kind of rotating this and just checking to make sure all my curves look nice. Look at my peasants go. Heck yeah. Is that really what they look like on the bottom? What? Ridiculous little feet. Okay, mine are really not that far off. They really are this narrow and scrunchy. Okay, that's good to know. Y'all just saved me a bunch of time. Thank you, thank you. I also know a fair amount of you guys are at work and you're like, oh my goodness, a request that to not do anything but my actual job. I know how y'all are. Oh, and what should we do for the normal base? Probably like flowers and grass. Let's go ahead and do that. Well, again, we'll have two distinct versions of this fox here. It's gonna be great. All right, so this will be the other base, because again, we're gonna do like a normal looking fox, and then we're gonna have this same fox bursting into flames, as they do. It makes a lot less sense without the fire. Maybe I should add something to the base, like some rocks that make it look like, make any more sense. I don't want to scope creep this too much because I'm doing just like an extra version. So this is why, again, I love having some pre-made brushes where I can really quickly concept things. I'm going to bring in a rock brush and I'm going to make a little stack of rocks. Just really easy, really quick. There we go. Because I really think that just having it floating for the non-magical fox is pushing it. It's maybe perhaps a little too ridiculous. So let me just like try this out really quick. Beans. Gotta have the toe beans. Yeah, this totally works if I put some rocks under here. What are we thinking? Because I'm thinking definitely yes. Wow, this rock is really over detailed. Relax. There we go. So we'll have, this will be the forest version. It's actually going to look much different, more than I was expecting, but it doesn't take that much more work because having like this floating fox without the fire doesn't make any sense. Like it's majestic, but it's a little ridiculous. Well, awesome. This is going to look great. Even better than I was anticipating. I love to see it. This is kind of a last minute addition, so I don't want to go too crazy making the best rock pile you ever did see. It's going to be a good enough rock pile you ever did see. I'm going to go to polish by features because this like rock brush I'm using is like way too high res. Let's go with a rock that is a little more square. There we go. Yeah, they're so flat on the bottom. I'm not digging that. Again, this is a great brush for quickly concepting, but now I'm being picky about my rocks. It was bound to happen. There we go. I'm like, I just want a lumpier rock, you know? Doesn't have to make sense, but it needs to, you know, look a little better. Sean says foxes are literally my favorite, or my brand. That's my favorite animal. I need to commission a special design to use for my business as like a mascot, but monies. I have no idea who to commission. We have quite a few talented artists in our community, so you could always talk to them. We have a couple 2D artists and of course many 3D artists as well. But yes, monies indeed. Good art ain't cheap. I delete this rock right here because it looks a little silly in my opinion. And then this doesn't even look like a rock. This big one right here looks like a big piece of algae, which is cool, but I'm just gonna delete it. There we go. So our doors open here is gonna be a little on the long side because I really wanna get these two models finished. They're gonna be just gorgeous. So I don't wanna rush them, want them to just be cool, do their thing. In the meantime, I can make a poll, but there are two options from yesterday. The Secretary Birdfolk Ranger. If you don't know what a secretary bird looks like, look it up. They're super cool. And then also it is going to be a character from the Liza P, inspired by, anyway, the black cat. So those are the two options for the day. If you have a strong preference on one or the other, let me know. If not, I'm just gonna pick one. And if you guys are like, don't be lazy, just make it a poll, I can also do that. There we go. This is looking pretty darn good. And we're gonna just Dynamesh all this down together when I'm ready. Whenever you're using a move brush to move around hard surface objects, just be really careful. Make sure that you're using your move brush at a high intensity and with a very large brush size. Otherwise it just gets really lumpy looking. Nobody likes that. No lumpy rocks. Well, this looks pretty darn good if I do say so myself. Just had to make a real quick custom base for this fox. No matter. I've got to vote for Secretary Bird, another one. Ooh, the Splendor. Yeah, I've decided that the Splendor priority request is going to be a special Friday stream, so look forward to that. Sweet, we'll do the Secretary Bird. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put that request in our Discord server right here. So if you guys want to start gathering references for me, that would be amazing. So we'll kind of get a little ahead of ourselves here. When don't we? Where did I put this? This week's request. There we go. So the request for today is from Lel J. Oh, it's from no one. Come here. There we go. Could I please request an Aarakocra / Birdfolk Ranger? So Aarakocra are like eagle folk. But it's gonna be a Birdfolk Ranger in the style of a secretary bird. She fights with a longbow and or a spear, and has a mongoose companion that flies with her in her backpack on her shoulder. I might not do the mongoose because that's kind of like two models in one, unless we're feeling very, very special. We'll see. So to grab references for this, this is very niche, right? You're probably not going to find a Secretary Birdfolk Ranger exactly. That'd be insane. But you can get me references of rangers, of longbows, of spears, this backpack, Secretary Birds in general. All of those are great. And that's how you gather references as an artist, truly. You're not looking for something to encapsulate exactly what you're creating. You are finding pieces to then reference. So don't feel pressured to find the exact thing. But yeah, have fun with that. That request is in the Discord server, so feel free to grab references. You don't even have to grab references that are images. You could even just type out a concept you have in your head too. Oh my gosh, this is actually kind of great and adorable. I know not an actual reference, but it's kind of precious and I love it. I got it, Shans. Don't you worry about nothing floating. I got it. I'm doing the thing right now. Look how ridiculous pretty they are. Oh my goodness, those lashes. It is a very fashionable bird. And don't forget, peasants, your job is to hang out, grab references, be creative. It is not to tell me things that I'm missing. I'm not missing. I am currently mopping the floor. There is no, you missed a spot. I'll be mean to you guys if you do this to me. I know you're trying to be helpful and I love that. But don't you worry, I got it. I'm also I really love this curve right here. What's the most I can do to emphasize that? There we go. Right? Note the eyelashes, but also the colors in the face and the shape of the yellow-orange part. Yeah, it reminds me so much of like a masquerade mask, you know? Those lashes are ridiculous. Oh, I love them. Oh, ZBrush is like, we are too high poly for this early in the morning. You're okay, ZBrush. There we go. Making sure all these pieces kind of flow in each other nicely, so when I do Dynamesh them all down, I can do a good job at blending these seams without having any extra work. I'm going to use my standard brush, add a little bit of volume to some of these limbs because they're getting a little pancakey. See that? I mean, that's kind of what they actually do look like, not gonna lie. But I get to make some creative decisions here. As I mentioned before, I like to err more on the side of something a little bit chunkier. I just find it's not so fragile, a little easier to paint, a little more substance. Yeah. Empress, that is amazing. I've not heard about that. Full body is an outfit itself. It really is. No, these birds are like, have no business being so fancy and gorgeous. Did the male and female secretary birds look the same? Or is it just like, just the males are gorgeous and have all the fun? All right. Oh, I'm really happy with this. Gorgeous. All right, let's work a little bit more on these legs that kind of got a little funny, some of these fur chunks. That's actually not too bad. I won't fuss with that too much. All right, these little feet need help. Yeah, let's go ahead and Dynamesh this. So this is our first undoable operation. This is gonna allow me to kind of finalize the legs and blend some seams and whatnot. And as I'm doing this, I'm also post-processing it for 3D printing. It's kind of a twofer. Ooh, that's an interesting effect. So that polypaint glitching will happen whenever you use like a Boolean operation. If you want to keep your polypaint, just make a copy and they can project it back on after the fact. I'm not too pressed about that here because the polypaint is just for fun. It's just for us anyway. Look at these funny little feet I have going on. They're gonna look so much better as I continue to blend these seams. There we go. Gosh, they're so cute. Just little toe beans. I'll definitely need to add some fur because currently the little paws are just bald. Don't you worry. All in due time. Or not, he'll just have some little bald feet. There we go, get some shaping going. All right, let's add a little more substance on top here. There we go. Because I got this big joint in their feet. I'm always surprised how high up it is too. Oh, we love a good accidental caps lock moment. Sorry for all caps. I am caffeinated and hype. Also, Secretary Birdfolk. How exciting is that? Ooh, found a handful of little diagram thingy. I love helpful diagram thingies. Yeah, so they're crossed. They can put it up or put it down. Weird. Seriously though, Empress, this is extremely helpful because it's breaking down the main components of this bird. Oh look, I am the bird right now. Okay. Easily entertained. All right, looking good. Foxies with paws. Cute. I'm really happy with how that foot's standing there. That looks good. All right, this is looking good. I'm gonna use my Move Topological brush to keep moving these little rocks around. Doesn't need to be perfect. We don't want obvious clipping. Also, the underside of some of these rocks looks a little silly. I can go to Geometry and Clay Polish to really quickly retexture these. There we go. Because I'm going for more of like a simple, stylized look here. I can use my contrast slider to further help some of these edges and make them a little more fun to dry brush. All right, I think we're pretty good here. Let's go ahead and move this rock around, make sure all of these feeties are supported. Oh, this is looking great. I didn't expect this fox to turn out as nice as it did, so it's a nice surprise when it did. Neato. I do want to poly paint this a little more correctly, even though it's going to disappear in a moment here. No more backseat sculpting, Sean. I appreciate you helping. I don't want any help. We are just here for vibes and have a good time. No more specifics. That's an official warning. Very serious. I giggle because like I'm serious, but like it's not that serious. All right. Oh gosh, I love how that face turned out. And the ear fluff. At first I was like, is it too much ear fluff? No, it's never too much ear fluff. No, you're fine. Oh, apologies. No, Sean, you're just like you're lost in the sauce. I see it. I love it. You're like, you are one with the sculpt. I love it. But I also know it's more helpful when someone just like tells you like you outright instead of like, okay, I'm good. Just be like, no, stop that. I'm not in the mood for that. I don't know. I'm good at subtleties and stuff, but like I always got stressed with my friends if they wouldn't just tell me like outright what they want. Because like I feel like I can read people pretty well, but like sometimes you just need that directness, right? I don't know. It makes me happy. Even if it's negative, I'm like, oh, okay, good. I do that with my husband all the time where I'll like just straight up be like, how did you feel about that? What did you think exactly about that? He's like, I'm good. I'm like, okay, good. I want to make sure. I need to know directly, you know? All right, let's start blending some scenes. Let's keep on going. I think this torso got a little twisted, but I mean, this is a complicated model. I am jazzed at how much we got done in just A couple hours of work yesterday, and then now it's going to run into pretty much the first hour here for this stream, I think. That is a great reference, though, by the way. All right, let's start piecing this together. I really want to get the body all put together, and then maybe I'll do a couple more little refinements. We'll see. This secondary fox, that's just like a normal fox, is definitely not our priority. We really want to get the fire one going. Spend some time on that. Sean says, I don't think it's possible to have too much ear fluff. I feel that. Just Single says, my goal is to make a boss model every month, and this month is going to be the first, hopefully. I like this Art Fest prompt enough to get momentum started, I think. Oh, that'd be so cool. Sean says, you're super clear though. I need clarity, and subtlety is really hard for me to grasp. So you tell me outright? Much appreciated, seriously. I get that. Yeah, absolutely. Because like that's what I want from people too, so I try to put that out there. So I like it. Also, I love that you're just like so like lost in the sauce. I know that these feet could be better, honestly. I was just like, you know what? There's enough that's successful about this that I have to kind of just move on at some point. But I agree. I think the feet are probably the weakest spot. The strongest spot, interestingly, well, the pose. I think it's the face, which is crazy because that head, honestly, I was like having a moment where I'm like, what is wrong with this face? Remember how like high and far apart its eyes were when I first started? Hey, RV's here. Welcome in. Yeah, momentum as in knocking loss and consuming details, right? And it's so hard not to, especially like when you're just sculpting like an animal, like straight out an animal, because there's like a right answer. It's tricky. Yeah, you guys are lovely. Something I really adore about this community is I never have to worry about your guys' intentions. Like, you guys are just the sweetest. It's always good intentions. And if I don't think it is, you'd know, because I would just like, oop. I haven't had to do that in so long. I can't remember the last time that I had someone in the chat that I just didn't like. It's been a long time. Eloa knows. Eloa's so funny. Eloa knows if I'm having a problem with someone before I do. They immediately start giggling. They're like, Mia's gonna hate this. Granted, Eloa's been around for months. I think they've picked up on what I think are subtle cues. Not so subtle to them now. I think Eloa is our sole mod today, too. Oh my goodness, someone's gonna have a ton of fun painting this. Oh, Sean's, I didn't ask, how is your 3D printer thing going? Because you have the 3D printer now. Have you set it up? Is it overwhelming you yet? Because there's a lot. We're here for you. Eloa says, yes, I protect enough. Yeah. The way that reading through our mod chat has just made me absolutely cackle. Oh my goodness. All right, this is looking really good. Let's keep on going. Although I think I upgraded the elegance. I think I fine-tuned it a little bit and it's even more elegant. Okay, this is all blended down. We're gonna turn off poly paint for a second here so I can really see the model for what it is. I'm gonna come through the clay brush and I'm gonna fix any seams. We're gonna start from the top to the bottom. Interestingly, I actually like the seams in the ears. I think that just make it easier to paint, so I'm gonna leave that. But like this neck seam, we don't want that. There we go. I have to be careful right here because the head is actually really low poly. So I don't have as much resolution to blend them. Does that make sense? There we go. And we don't have to get too crazy here. Just doing the things, and then I can go over the blended seam with a little bit of fur to kind of get like a nice little direction detail. Again, this is the hairiest fox y'all ever did see. They are not, they're fluffy. They're not this fluffy. I'm partly doing that because, again, the prompt is to make a fire fox. So each of these like little fur clumps that are very defined, I'm pretty much is like the start of a flame. And you guys are going to see how I'm going to transform that in a little bit here. But my husband saw this and Ricky was just like, that looks so good. That needs to be its own model. And I'm like, you're right. You're right. I'm so glad Foxy was able to hang out with us yesterday. And they got a Tavern pet. Just the best. Because I feel like it wasn't that long ago that Foxy and I were talking about that. Like, I've never done a fox Tavern pet. Now I have. All right, yeah, Sean's 3D printer update. Awesome. Sean says, yeah, Dad and I are going to clear out a spot in the garage for it. Nice. He was initially very against the 3D printer as an idea, but he's really come around. It's not yet set up. Okay, I'm glad he's come around to it because I understand being like unsure about it. I've been reading instructions and researching how to use it and stuff. Very good. The most time-consuming part will be finding and constructing a table for the printer. Yeah, Ricky actually built a table just for our 3D printers. I totally get what you're talking about. Well, it sounds like you're doing everything right. Just remember to enjoy the process. You're still going to get goofy 3D prints. You're still going to get failures at times. It's not a big deal. And it's not a reflection on you not understanding stuff or not being prepared enough. There's just so many variables. Like Ricky and I still get failed 3D prints. So just know that prepare, keep doing all of the things. You got a long, awesome journey of just like learning, and it's such a like rewarding thing because every failed print, you learn something new. Also, like, just don't forget at any time you can go into our Discord server and be like, what the heck is happening here? Because even if you know all of this and even if you have a good attitude, you might still get frustrated. I sure do sometimes. So it just helps to know that you're not the only person trying to solve that problem. Someone else has definitely had this problem before you. I guarantee it. It also helps that 3D printers are getting so much better. Yeah, Eloa, your 3D printer comes in soon, right? So many of y'all have gotten 3D printers recently. Oh, I'm so happy for you guys. Ah, this box is so gorgeous. Wow. It was Day of the Fox yesterday. Eloa says, honestly, what a transformative 6 months. I'm so happy me and Ricky are growing with the streams and they have helped me grow so much too. Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I was just like really hungry or sleepy or a mixture. I don't know what it was, but like the other night I was like, it was super late. And Ricky and I are talking about the business and stuff. And like, we can really see the reality, like we're gonna be able to buy a house next few years. It's so exciting. It's all coming together, and like you and the other mods and all the peasants in the community. I got like so choked up. I was just like, I was just listing up all the good things that have happened, and I don't know. Yeah, again, I cried everything, but I cried about y'all last night, or the other night. I'm just a crier, which is funny, because like growing up, I was not very stoic. And to be clear, it wasn't hysterical. It was just like, yeah. All right, that's gorgeous. No more fiddling. Micah says caffeine makes me sleepy instead of more active. Isn't that an ADHD thing? I can't remember. Sorry, I'm not trying to arbitrarily diagnose you. Mild ADHD side effect. Lol. Keep reading. That isn't with all people who have ADHD, but a lot of us. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. Sean says, I need to take notes from what you're saying, to be honest. This is stuff to remember. Okay, good. I mean, you can always just rewind, but if you need me to repeat certain things, let me know. Sean, am I spamming? I'm definitely lost in the caffeine sauce, but it feels good. Honestly, same. You're great. No, you're being great. Chat away. This is great. Especially because you're on topic. Like, I've had people that have come... Okay, this doesn't happen often, to be clear. I'm just gossiping right now because I'm also super caffeinated. No, like I'll have people that like come into the stream and just like, this happened once, like actually last year before Eloa, and they were like a random new person. They'd never been there in the stream before, and just like talking about their bad day. And I was like, I'm sorry you're having a bad day, but this is not the place to rant about that to strangers. You know what I mean? Like, that's so different than like, I think it was just Lingual mentioned and Satyr that they weren't having a great day yesterday. That's totally fine. You guys didn't give us like the minute by minute play by play of that. And we all want to know and like make you feel better. So yeah, there is subtlety and there is context to it, but long story short, Sean, you're great. This is great. Oh, look, it's Ricky. Dab. Eloa says, early Mia was so kind to everyone. God, I wasn't I? And then I realized as we started building a community that like I need to protect y'all too. And like if I got some weirdo in the chat, I need to get rid of them. When it wasn't needed. I agree. I think that was a little bit of like the people pleaser in me too. To me, when I was early on in streaming, in my head, the worst thing I could do was hurt someone's feelings. And now, the worst thing I can do is let some rando ruin my peasant's day, which has made my life much easier. This is turning out awesome. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is done. That's good to go. So I'm going to make a copy of this. We're going to call this one regular fox, and then I'm going to call Command-Shift-D. So now I have two pieces here, and I'll name the other one Firefox. All right, very good. And this will be normal base. Foxy's going to be so excited. You guys don't even understand. Like, because he hasn't joined in today yet. He doesn't even know that we're making two versions of this. It's great. All right, so for the regular fox, we can go ahead and post-process this all the way through. All right, Eloa, I'm going to do a live little thing here about post-processing. If you have any questions, let me know. Steamworks is here. Hello, hello. Welcome in. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check mesh integrity to kind of see what we're dealing with. We have one face with multiple references, same vertex, and one edge that's shared by more than two polys. That doesn't matter at all. We're so golden. I'll click fix mesh anyway, because I find if you fix the mesh before doing a Boolean operation or before decimating it, it kind of helps out the program. It will bust your poly paint. See? Before, after. It's just what it does. Don't worry about it. If you really care and want to keep your poly paint, I know you use other fancy programs and stuff, Eloa. You can always project it back on by having a duplicate. All right, so the first thing I like to do is bring it down to 500,000 points, just like a really easy base. It's very rare that I have a model that needs more than 500,000 points to look high res. Though when things have wings, that's kind of when we start getting into that. Yeah. Yeah, Steamworks, how are you today? Are you still welding and melting? It's too hot to weld. But I get it. You gotta work, you gotta do your job. And then Sean mentions, yeah, being the boss of chat teaches a lot of lessons, like not to tolerate jerks, / people who give your regulars a hard time. Absolutely. I guess I was so worried about it seeming like a mean girl thing, like it's like you're an in club, like you're in or you're not. And then I realized that's exactly what it is, but my in crowd are a bunch of dorks. And like that's who I want here. I don't know. Yeah. You can't be too cool to hang out here. Sorry. All right, I'm waiting for this process to finish up. You can barely see it under my donation bar. Eloa says, I also really like how I fit into the community. I don't feel like a student often, a more collaborative thing where Mia mentors me like, Eloa, come here, look at this floofing technique. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you have a very unique role in the community for sure. And I found very early on that it's just not as beneficial for me to like criticize your work and criticize you. You're very much so much more of an upward spiral person, which is the same way I learned too. Like, I don't know, I just take negative comments like, I don't know, I just I get fixated on them. But if you focus on the things that you like, hey, learn this technique, learn this tool, you end up like leveling up every space. Does that make sense? It's kind of like leveling up instead of fixing bad areas. I don't know. A lot of students can't work like that because they're like, no, what do I need to fix? And I'm like, hey, that's totally fine. But I definitely can't think of it that way. Steamworks is finally done melting. Oh, good. We've lost Micah in the chat, guys, I'm afraid. Micah, are you still with us? Or are you dying? Steamworks says, Morsa is a position I was in near hot metal. Fortunately, we do have AC in the shop. Oh, good. That's a nice shop. Death could be worse. Absolutely. And then Sean says, okay, this is literally a nerd chat. It's true. You just need to sprinkle the right interest and you fit in. So true. That's true. It's not so much not cool enough or too cool. It's more of like that, yeah, right. That's like that same interest or just like, I don't know. There's like a kindness in there too, though. All right, this decimated really well. Let me go ahead and zoom in. So it's another thing that I do at Eloa where I will zoom in on something that's really high detail and I'll undo and redo the decimation operation. So this is at 6 million points. This is 500,000. You pretty much can't even see the difference except for a little bit of like poly stretching like right here. Again, that's fine. That's totally fine. This is already gigantic. So the monitor I work on is really, really big. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of show you guys that. So this is like the size of my entire hand. Nobody's printing it this big, but if they were, it'd still look great. So that's why I test it this way. Eloa says, yes, Mia basically gave me the confidence and go ahead and was like, yeah, make that jump, I approve. It really helped me take the chains of art perfectionist off myself. Yeah, oh my goodness. I was like floored when we did that first like hair assignment and you showed me the one you worked on before where like you did each individual strand from the tutorial and like drove yourself insane. Cause like that doesn't even sound like you to me and not the Eloa that I know. So I was very surprised. I was happy I was able to make you, not do that. Because to me, you're very much so like a free spirit, free soul. Yeah. Baby handsome, fox pretty. I agree. Thank you. Eloa says, and yeah, I make really weird leaps in progress and like to go away for a few weeks and return and be like, behold, my work. You really do. You're like... You're very much so the tavern mascot. You are your own little whimsical creature. You are Stitch. Steamworks mentioned in their work, since we deal with art and antiquities, it needs to be climate controlled. Oh, that makes sense. So is humidity an issue where, like with the stuff that you work too? Because I know like humidity can be a problem in like degrading certain materials. Also, I'm so sorry. YouTube sent your comment 3 times. That's really funny. I know you didn't do that on purpose. That's happened to me sometimes too. Come here. We have a little bald spot behind his elbow. Not a big deal. Oh yeah, good. Eloa said so far the process of exporting and cleanup overlaps very nicely with the same exporting and my normal process for UV unwrapping. They are totally similar. They really are. All right, let's go ahead and look at this. I love what the back foot touches the tail. This is just really rock solid. Another thing that I do for 3D printing and fur and overhangs is I will use my 3D gizmo, click on this little location icon, and I'll put it at the center of the mesh, and I will inflate the entire mesh just a tiny, tiny bit. Here's the before and here's the after. I know it's silly, but just a tiny, tiny bit will like round off any harsh corners. All right, last step is I will bring out my knife brush. So B knife rectangle. Make sure you save because it likes to crash during this process. Absolutely. Yep. Thickness probably connect as much as possible. Honestly, Eloa, you're already doing like more than enough to make your stuff 3D printable. You're so good. Just by considering it in the first place, you're ahead of some other creators, honestly. But I am very happy you got a 3D printer. That is super important. All right. I don't know if I want to go much lower res than this. Let's see if I can do a little contrast slider too. You have to be really careful with this. So here's the before, here's the after. That just makes the details stand out a ton more. I know it's a little intense looking on the face, but I kind of love it. It's a little low res. I wish I did the contrast slider earlier. It's okay. Literally just doing that little slide right here. Do you guys see this? It's gonna make those 3D print details grab so much better. All right, cool. That is done. And then I am not gonna decimate it further. This is gonna be a big file. It deserves it. It's incredible. All right, I'm gonna close holes and then remesh by union. Hey, Torpin's here. Hello, hello. Very nice halfling wizard, the free mini today. I don't know if you know this program, Orient 3D. It's organic, all 3D files, so it's easy to see the files in the style of a picture viewer. Yeah, I've never heard of it, but I'm glad you like the 3D model today. And then Steamworks mentioned, yes, lower than 65% humidity. Interesting. Because like with certain things, like I was surprised. So last year I drove across the country because I moved from California to Tennessee, and we brought my baby grand piano, and I was it's like a little upright. I've had it like my entire life, and I was super worried about it because it's so humid in Tennessee. But it turns out that pianos really like humidity, so you don't want it too dry. It's interesting. Yeah. Eloa said, for the skulls on my models, I went in and inflated the inside of the cheekbone area so it didn't have holes inside. And you can have that. I thought it would help and be safe. I don't know if it made much of a difference. Yeah, you didn't have to do that. The big issue is that this jawbone right here, it comes up and it doesn't like touch anything when it's just a skull. We don't have like, you know, muscle, skin, fat, that kind of stuff. Just want to make sure that little tab isn't floating right here. That's about it. Steamworks, there is 3 copies of you every time you chat. I don't know why. That's super funny. Oh, goodness. Almost done with my second coffee. I am vibing. All right, auto groups, command shift click a few times, close holes, remesh by union. Bam. I know I said that really quickly. If you actually or anyone's need to know the exact steps I'm doing, please let me know. But the last thing I always do is close holes and then check mesh integrity just to see what we're looking like. And yeah, it's completely clean. All right, time for the normal base and all of these rocks to get situated. Is that touching his little foot? It's very close. Yes, looking good. Eloa, I can't stop geeking out over this model. It's so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. All right, so whenever I have a model that is so like built into the base like this, what I do is whatever is touching the actual animal, I kind of make this the model, and then I scale it to the base afterwards. Does that make sense? So the piece, these rocks are part of the fox, not part of the base. And it's just easier to work that way. Sweet. Can merge all of that down. That's one piece. That one is done. And we will come back to that later. I'm going to do Shift S to stamp it there. Again, a reminder that yesterday we had, this is where we started yesterday, and this is what we have now. Oh, so proud. Okay, now let's get the Firefox going. This one's a bit different. So the way that I'm going to approach this one is higher contrast on the whole model. We're going to pretty much merge it down right away. And then I'm going to worry about getting flames pulled off of these shapes. So every fir clump here is potentially the starter of a piece of fire. All right. What was I doing? Contrast. So this one especially, I can go insane with the contrast. Here's the before, here's the after. Cool. So auto groups, this is looking really good. I don't know if Sculptress Pro is going to lose its mind if I try to make it work with this. I'm already pretty happy with the flames I have here. I am going to Z-remesh them just so we don't have this weird pixelation. Hello, I was like, you okay there, Steamworks? Yeah, YouTube just really wants us to know about this humidity. How many times is that message auto-sent by accident? I know you're not doing it on purpose, so it is just genuinely funny. Let's go with a more orangey color. There we go. And now some deep reds. Gorgeous. Yeah, it's probably just bad Wi-Fi. Hey, Foxy is here. Dude, Foxy, guess what? I made 2 versions of the Fox. We did the Firefox, which I'm gonna make more fire right now, and then normal Fox with like a fancy, yeah, foresty base. More Fox. I was just talking about you. I feel like I summoned you. I've decided that on Friday I'm going to do the Splendor. It's going to be fun, chaotic Friday stream. So my goal is to get as much actual work, just kidding, but like seriously, getting a bunch of models done before then so I can take all day Friday to just work on that model because Lord knows it's going to need it. Your base rocks, by the way. Thanks, Jaslingual. Steamer said, sorry guys, I'll shut up for the moment. No, I don't mind at all. If you want your chat to read like normal, you can just put it in the Discord instead. It's mostly just funny. Foxy says, normal Fox on rocks looks great. I trust you to make more work for yourself though. Yeah. Me? I mean, really, this was efficient, though. You know, I got 2 models out of 1. Yeah, I just made more work for myself. You're right. It's so awesome, though. I regret nothing. All right, let's get this moved around, touching this fox as much as possible. This is a wild 3D print as is. No reason not to have these little flamies touch the feet. Pretty much looks the same. Gorgeous. All right, really happy with the flame swirl around it. We're gonna make the base its own piece, like this base right here. Subdivide a few times, and then I'm probably going to use my spiral brush to make an interesting texture here. I'm going to use my mask pen to grab just the bottom of it. Now my spiral brush, and move it around. Are we going to have a calmer, more peaceful stream today? Yes, the paranoia was a thing of yesterday. Turns out, just a fluke. What do you know? Don't even get me started. There we go. I just want to make sure that the base doesn't look perfectly smooth. I want something to happen here. Just a little bit of texture. And I'll grab the bottom of this ring and do the same thing. There we go. Kind of want this to melt into each other. There we go. That's what I wanted. Gorgeous. Just Lingual says we are calm, peaceful, not paranoid about peasants revolting. Yeah, that was a whole bit. I cannot believe that, just a bunch of coincidences. And I like totally lost it when we had someone join the Discord named Lore Master. I was like, okay, you guys are for sure messing with me. Nope, just a coincidence, all of it. Eloa says, interesting that the problematic mods are not here, and it's more calm. Yeah, Eloa did their first free Printable commission, and it's amazing. It is. We showed it off on stream yesterday, but I think Eloa put it in share your art too. If not, they need to. That's probably my only complaint with you right now, Eloa, is you're not shilling your stuff enough. You know, more posting about your art at least once a week, especially in self promo. Like for the money stuff, but like just normal sharing your art, like just do that more too. I mentioned it yesterday, but like you can submit stuff for the Summer Art Fest. I have to do the same thing with one of my students, Matt. I straight up just have to tell him, like, you have to post in my self-promo channel once a week, or like I'm upset about it. And he does, mostly now, with some reminding. All right, time to get some fire on this fox. So I'm going to see if I can use Sculptors Pro and see if it's going to just absolutely tank my program or if it's going to handle it. Oh, there's Matt. I'm trying. Yeah, I was talking about you. You're like, I've been here the whole time. Congrats on your Kickstarter, by the way. Again, the update's coming out sometime this week. I know you're not pressed about it, but yeah. Alrighty. Snake hook. Okay. I need to put Sculptors Pro on my UI. It is time. Okay. To do that, I'll do Preference, Config, Enable Customize, hold down Command and Option, and then click and drag on this little orb. We're going to put it here because it feels Dynameshy. Enable Customize, click again, Store Config, and bam, I now have a custom UI thingy. I think it's going to absolutely explode. Yeah, this is too many polys. I thought you'd say that. I thought you'd panic. Okay. How many polys can it be? I'm just going to Google it. ZBrush, how many polys for Sculptors Pro? I'm not surprised that it's 6.2 million too many. That's fine. Like, what is the limit? 10 million. Obviously not true. Try again. Around 1.5 million, 300,000. Okay, sweet. We'll go to 500,000 like usual. Eloa says, I have shared things in Share Your Art. Just now? Or just in general? Oh, just now! Good! Very good. There we go. My first commission for the Parasitic Terror, The Whispering Dark. Commissioned by Blue Jester. That's Micah. Same person. Yeah, kind of getting Night Before Christmas vibes. A little bit with like the hat. Yeah. Cool. Also, just Lingual, I adore this. Small side project design, printed dragon brooch as a monster field journal with my little sister. That's so cool. This is so awesome, Eloa. Load. There we go. But like, check that out. Yeah, it's definitely the face too. This is giving a bit of Night Before Christmas vibes. It's awesome. That's so awesome. Y'all are the coolest. All right, we're going to decimate this down. First, we're going to fix mesh. I am so excited for this release on Patreon. People are going to love it. I know it. I think you can set the limit in preferences. That also makes sense. I just know I don't need to be 600,000 or 6 million polys anyway, though. Preferences, mem, unless I'm totally mistaken. No, you're right. So that's like, you can adjust like how many threads your ZBrush can take a hold of, which will therefore let Sculptors Pro handle more. I'm over 6 million polys. I'm already so high. I need to bring it down anyhow. But you are correct. Eloa, thank you for sharing after I yelled at you. Very good. Someone tag me in a meme. I love memes. You're insane. You knew that when you hired me. That's very accurate. That is me with my mods. I did know better. All right, so still doing the thing. Also, I have a DM from Matt and I have a DM from my husband. I bet Matt's just like, yep, meeting time sounds good. Yep. I don't care if you mention it in chat. It doesn't bother me. Sweet. And then we got some ideas of models to SkyTrain for. I have a very special happy hour planned for today. So stick around, and I got an art collab project with the peasants. Monkey's here. Greetings, humans. Welcome in. We're finishing up this Firefox from yesterday. We're almost done. I also made a normal fox. All right. Yep, Sculptors Pro is working pretty good. Let's see if I do this and then smooth it. Because maybe I'm too low. How about I subdivide? I feel like this isn't doing a very Sculptors Pro job. Oh, I don't have it enabled. That's why. I'm like, this kind of sucks, actually. Just kidding. I wasn't using the feature. If your Sculptors Pro button is not highlighted, it's not working. Crazy, I know. All right, no, it's working great. I'm also at 6 million points again. No. All right, we're gonna remesh again because I clicked undo and then clicked boo. Oh well. ArtFest is going crazy right now. Y'all are going, ooh, Justlingual has a new sketch to share. Hell yeah. Justlingual, you're so talented. This has the personality that your previous one was missing. You know what I mean? Like, what is going on here? Like, I just have so many questions in like a great way. Like, good character design will make the viewer like ask questions and be interested, and then it's up to your design to have the question and the answer at the same time. So as of right now, I guess I can't tell. I don't have an answer for why there's a baby skeleton. But he does look like he is a necromancer of sorts. Oh, that's right. That's prompt. Duh. See? I'm finding the answer based on the design elements you provided here. Also, just by adding stuff to like his belt and certain gear, it will answer that question. This is a quick sketch I did just now. I didn't make a model the last 2 weeks, but at least I'm doing the brainstorming portion. Maybe I should also do a stat block. Yeah, I think so. Ooh, and then Monkey has another map. These are so gorgeous. Monkey, watching you do maps makes me want to do maps because I'm like, you make it look easy. And I'm like, I know it's not. But it makes me inspired to make some, truly, truly. This is awesome. Ooh, another one from Paint. Walking potted plant. Some necromancers are not as evil or wanting to harm people as most may think. Some just want a little creature to help with their botany and flora hobbies to make sure they're well taken care of. Aw, cute. Awesome. Heck yeah. You guys are going insane this week. I love it. All right, the chat is picking up. So back to if you need me, ping me. Otherwise, I'll just talk to you guys all day instead of sculpting, which I have to do. All right, so I'm adding these flames using Sculptors Pro, and this is on a decimated model. I don't mind if it looks a little lower res. It's still gonna look great. Again, the goal here, it's currently just a fox with fire around it. It's supposed to be a fire elemental in the shape of a fox. So I made a fox, and now we're firifying it. It's very important that I don't muddy up the silhouette too much. So I'm pulling off shapes where I think fur and would naturally transition into flame, like the shoulders and around the neck, because they kind of already have a bit of a floof situation going on there anyway. Just notice that for a lot of my sculpting, it's not so much about like frantically clicking. It really is a lot more about, I just stare at the model for a bit here and I really think about what I want to add, and then I add the thing. So that's really important. So when I was having a hard time in college, pursuing my engineering degree, I noticed that the students that would like ace the midterms and ace the test didn't spend much time writing. They would just sit there with their hands put together and looking at the problem, and that's it. And then they would just like solve it. So again, like just plan and then attack. I'm also choosing to make all the flames go up for a couple of reasons. One, because 3D printing, and two, that is the direction flames go. I don't want to get too insane with adding all these flames. If I add too many, it's going to look tentacly. Get me? And we don't want that. This is already just coming along beautifully. I'm pretty much almost done with it. Forge pointed out, yeah, just lingual, the line quality in your sketches is great. I love it. That is what I was thinking too. I have a really hard time with that in my sketches. I don't know. It either looks too scratchy or... Just lingual, you really inspired me to work more on my 2D art again. Thank you for sharing, seriously. I don't know about you guys. I'm one of those people where like I put very disproportionate amount of value in when I see people doing things that I can't do. Yeah, we should have Corey back next few weeks because they are moving. They were so sweet. They even mentioned like, hey, the house sold. I'm gonna be gone for a little bit. I'll be back. It was just a very cute little update. But you were right. They should be back soonish, which is great. I love having Corey around. And again, where I'm adding these flames, it is not random. Just another little reminder. I'm really looking at how these shapes are moving and what naturally kind of flows into a flame shape, which pretty much is wherever there's a joint, honestly. It doesn't have to be that complicated, just design with intention. Sean says, I would have probably made the Fox Flames resemble Amaterasu from Okami. I think that works better though. I love that game. Oh my goodness. That was like an absolute obsession of mine for so long. I was definitely one of those dorks that cried the day that Okami 2 was announced last year. I went straight to the subreddit. Everyone was freaking out. It was a very wholesome, cool moment for sure. You guys didn't understand. That game was just... Wolves were my favorite animal for the longest time growing up. And I guess maybe they still are. I don't know. I feel like I'm too old to have a favorite animal. No, I'm joking. But I take... Favorite is such a serious word. But anyway, for a very long time, wolves were definitively my favorite animal. So I feel like that game was made for me. All right, I think this is done. It didn't even take that much to add these little flame features to it, but it definitely needed it. Oh yes, and by the way, you guys do not want to miss the 14th. We have a very, very special stream planned, and by we, I mean Eloa and I, is going to be an Eloa event stream. What does that mean? Pretty much Eloa puts together some devious package of prompts and problems for me to tackle and design and solve on stream. Yeah, that's the best I can put it. It's not just like a simple art prompt, it's like a whole thing, and it's designed to challenge and push my artistic abilities to their absolute limit. It's really fun. You guys get to watch me read it for the first time on stream together. I don't get to prepare for it at all, other than just knowing when it's going to happen. And watching me problem solve on stream, it's very powerful. Sean's has Okami on the Wii. Yep, I did too. I didn't get through Okamiden, but yes, I also played on the Wii, which is the way to do it because of the motion controls. Just Lingual says, Nia, because favorite is such a serious word, I tend to expand it people to mean top 5, so it feels more open to share their thoughts. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Oh my gosh, the other day I was talking to Ricky that you brought up, like, oh, what's a character that you would like throw hands with, like in a fictional world or from a book you read? And the fact that I just blanked on stream, I was like, I have never read a book in my life. I have read 13 books this year, like finished. Like I've not finished many, many more. If I get to the 100-page mark of a book and I think it's kind of meh, I'm not going to finish it. Life's too short for that. But I was telling Ricky, I'm like, I don't know what it is when people ask me questions like that. Like, it's so innocuous. Like, oh, it's a character that you don't like, right? And I just blank. I'm like, why would I know that about me? Why would you ask me questions about me? How am I supposed to know that? Yeah. Taylor says, good morning. Hello, welcome in. I like how the clumps of fur turn into flame. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was very intentional when I was putting the fur chunks down. I wanted to make sure that I could grab any point and make it into a flame. So I appreciate you noticing that. Okay, this is done. Let's grab our knife brush, flatten. There we go. I'm going to merge all of this down. So I'm undecided what the no base version is going to be for these foxes. In case you're wondering what I'm saying by that, like I don't know if the no base version for this fox should include the rocks or not. Probably just include nothing. I don't know, I feel like that's the no base version, but it like has a base. I don't know, I need to think about it. I need to think that if I was gonna, what would I want? Right now, I'm just tightening this up so that the tail touches where it's supposed to. I need to decimate this. There we go. Sean's here repeating what I said. Mia being real. Why would you ask me questions about me? How would I know that? I don't know. I think it's because like, part of me wants to like have an interesting answer. I don't know. I don't know why I just totally blank. I think it's because I take questions too seriously. I'm like, I must have the correct answer for this right now. And that's literally not what anybody means when they ask me stuff. I know that. It's a weird habit. Oh my God, this is so cool. I cannot wait to 3D print this. Foxy mentions, Mia, I think the no base version needs the rocks. Otherwise, the fox will just fall over. That's a good point. Sometimes people are so creative though. And they like, here, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to have the fox with the rocks on it as a no base version. And then if I do happen to have someone that wants the fox isolated, I'll just make sure they're separate shells so I can really easily give that to them. Foxy says, Mia needs a masterclass in disengaging brain and just answering questions. It's true. It's true. For another day. Today is not that day. Okay, good, good. Thank you guys for the input. I really appreciate it. So same with this one, I will include the flames. Yeah, okay, that's the way. And that means I can scale this appropriately as well. Thank you guys, I really appreciate that. All right, we're in our last stages here of just bringing in my mesh for comparison. That's my end ZTL. And this is just, oh, that is my live stream ending screen. No, end ZTL. Yeah, see? Stream ending. There we go. Merge down, and I'll go ahead and bring that into the scene. There it is. Append. This requester definitely got spoiled and got more than they bargained for. That's happened twice back to back. What's new? There we go. Those are definitely different sizes. That's why we match our scales and make sure what's going on. All right, let's go ahead and click on Unify and find that other model. There she is. So this is already scaled to an actual mini. This model right here, when brought into like a slicer, is this big. So I can use that as a reference to bring these foxes together. And it's easy. So I want the base to match identically, and then I'll adjust the fox as needed. I'm gonna make it a little on the large side because foxes are just not very big. And that's not fun to paint. If someone wants it smaller, they can do that. They're definitely not gonna be this big. This is gigantic. Eloa says, wait, because of how the pose is, couldn't you rotate him sideways? It's like he's walking normally on flat ground. My brain knows what you're saying, and I have to see it. I don't think so. It would still be a decent amount of work, but it's close. You're right. It is. No more versions. Don't even put that seed in my head. Just Lingle says, hot take. It's more important to answer with your initial thought than to be honest and genuine in the moment. Genuine and honest is better, but many moments come and go too fast. Value the now. Yeah, that is tricky. Looks awesome though. Thank you, Eloa. All right, let's get these sized up. Are these bases the same? Yeah, they're really close. All right, I'm gonna mask this, split mask points, and then we're gonna make this fox a bit smaller. Again, still on the larger side. Like, that's good. That's probably what I want. I just don't want to be like literally as big as her. Taylor says, Mia, for printing, do you scale the models ahead of time in ZBrush, or do you, in the printing application Chi Box, for example? I'm doing that right now. So I do it at the very, very end of sculpting in ZBrush. And if ZBrush, how do you know how large things are? I don't see any grid. This model right here, I imported and it's correctly scaled. So all I do is line up the base so that it's identical, and then I match up the fox by eye. I don't need to actually measure like exactly. I know that this is 28mm scale, which is 28mm from foot to eye level. Technically, she might measure at like 27 because she is an elf monk and she's just a little on the shorter, leaner side. But yes. Like, this fox is gigantic. I think an actual fox would be more like this size. But nobody wants to paint that. What a pain in the ass. There we go. That looks gorgeous. Very usable. And it's a fox elemental too, so it really could be whatever size. The best thing about 3D models like this is you can scale them yourself. All right, I do want these ones to be pretty close to the same though. So I'm gonna line them up side by side. I like to line up by the head. That looks good. And then scoot that over. Sweet. Because that's already gonna be tiny, tiny, tiny. Turbin says, maybe add a flame from the base to the lower paw. No, I don't want to. It looks good. Eloa says, also, unless it was for scientific base prints or mechanical parts, I'm sure the requester won't mind this box being 0.01mm larger. Exactly. Yes, you can scale it however you want. He's a dire fox. Big fox, right? He's a cutie. I find when people first start designing for 3D printing, they overly pre-support it. Does that make sense? Like your 3D printer can handle it. If you take this fox right here and you pretty much, by the time that you're done trying to make it easier to print, here, like if I put a flame here like Torben suggested, or again, suggested, it's just an example. I do another one on under the other paw. So I'm pretty much like pre-supporting it with the flames, which you could do, right? So there's those two. What else could we do? Oh, this foot as well. There comes a point where you have damaged the art. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. To me, I'm an artist first. I do have an engineering background, so obviously I really enjoy making stuff, you know. Why is this move brush not working? Even it's like, stop it. It becomes hard to read and it stops looking good. You got to make sure the art is first. If it's convenient, you might as well make something touch. Like for example, I have the back foot touching the tail. You might as well, but never, ever sacrifice silhouette just to make it easier to 3D print. Don't do that. Art comes first. One of my favorite examples for this is my is my archer here. She only has, like, that pose is insane, right? But she's super stable. I designed her as is, no compromises. And then all I did was just take that bow and scoot it over to her chest a little bit. And then I went ahead and put a tree stump on the back of her foot. But she's just as gorgeous and dynamic and rock solid. I mean, this model is not going anywhere. See what I mean? Yeah. Silhouette first. Always, always, always. All right, we're looking good. Got that separate, that separate. All right, time to remesh all these and we're good to go. Eloa says, wait, on the archer, you did not have to use supports? Oh, no, there's still supports on it. Not very many, all considering. But no, like, this is floating. This cape, like, that needs supports. Super awesome design, by the way. Thank you, thank you. How come this base looks different? Why do you look short? Huh, no, I guess it's about the same. I'm gonna make it a little taller. Yeah, looks good. All right. So I can go ahead and delete this reference for size I have. And let's give this a little look. See if there's any flames I want to scoot over. Like, see how this is so close to touching the model right here? I might as well take that and just touch to the model. Those are the kind of examples I think are really worth it. I'm also going to bulk up a lot of these flames just so they're not too finicky. This would be a tricky FDM print, but it would be possible. All right, we're looking good. Remesh by union. Almost set. Yes, I call it the art of the smush. Absolutely. Strategic smush. So after my extremely long doors open, that was actually almost 2 hours, I'm going to take a short break, come back, and then we'll start Tavern Keeper's Craft. Probably. Again, I really wanted to finish this. I didn't care how long it took. I think I can lower that down to 400,000 points. How's that look? Looking good. All right, I'm gonna use my knife brush. It's very important that you don't use trim rectangle on a mesh like this because it's gonna close that hole in the center. You're gonna want the knife brush every time for the specific operation. Oh, I did say I was gonna make the flame separate shells and I forgot, so oh well. Man, that's awesome. If I mentioned I love my job. Just a little bit. All right, let's get these exported and we are done with the fox. I don't like how pixelated this turned out on top. But now when I Dynamesh it, it goofs up the bottom. Here, I'll just smooth this. There we go. Aha. Cool. Export, call that AA. And then here is our forest fox. Also gorgeous, just needs to clean up the bottom of it. Looking good. Turn off, oh yeah, and also when using the knife brush for this specific application, make sure you have perspective turned off. There we go. And the knife brush is not crashing on me at all. We are friends today. I like it. Eloa said, I did that thing too with the knife brush across the bottom of the flat surface. Even though I've never printed, I was like, yeah, I'm cool now. That is true. That's exactly how that works. All right, this is gorgeous. Tool, export, I'll name this B and BB. And again, I put this in Mesh Mixer. You do not have to. I just use this archaic software because it works. And if there is any giant issue, it just, I don't know. I trust it to yell at me more than I trust ZBrush to yell at me for it, even though it's fine. ZBrush would also do a good job. All right, well, if you're just hanging out or if you haven't looked up in a while, now is a good time to do so. We have finished this fox model. We got two versions of it. We have this fire fox elemental, and we also have a normal forest-based forest elemental, just normal fox. This is where we started yesterday. So if you watch today's stream and yesterday's stream, you will have seen this entire model happen. I didn't do anything off screen. So it's all real time. If you have any questions about how this was made, please, please, please ask. I love to answer. I love to teach. I have a mentorship program, literally it's designed to be one-on-one, so I can do that all the time and get paid for it. All right, I'm gonna do Shift R, which will do a little fun render for y'all. And let's bring us into Mesh Mixer. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, I'm proud, I'm proud, I'm proud. All right, and Just Lingual is correct. It is time for a screenshot, so geez. Can I chop off lower so the tail isn't touching the ground? Slightly nicer for display. No. No. That makes it so much harder to print for no reason. A super clean request from gathering references, overcoming problems, and finding that elegance. I agree. Oh, did I not export the base? I need BB. Tool, export, BB. There we go. Yeah, these are dense models. Yeah, see this has a bunch of little red dots right here? That means that it's mad about something with the mesh, and I want to see what. This is exactly what I'm talking about, where ZBrush won't always tell you. See, there was like a giant hole in that. Look how weird that is. There's something going on here. See, that base is not to be trusted, but you would never know. This happens like, goodness, probably like once every 6 months. But that's exactly why I put it in different software, to see if that's going to happen. It probably would print no problem still, but I don't know. I like being careful. So let's go ahead and take this. There's apparently something wrong with it. Oh, wow. Look at that topology. What? Why did that even happen? ZBrush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Dynamesh it. What is it mad about? The topology is really weird on this. That's why. See, I'm trying to Dynamesh it and it's not even working. So this little simple base that has almost no details on it is like totally broken. Isn't that interesting? Thank God Ray isn't here. I mean, no, even I'm like not okay with that. Some of it doesn't matter. This definitely matters. This is silly. Also, even just trying to Dynamesh it, it's breaking it. I got it. I can fix it. In the meantime, while ZBrush is having an absolute meltdown, the giant, super complicated Firefox is flawless and like looks great. Yeah, all these are super, super minor. No big deal at all. Done. How funny is that? All right. Fire Elemental Fox. Fire Eyes. No, I don't think it suit the model. Fire Elemental. I think it just looked messy. Fire Elemental Fox. No base. And then we'll go ahead and export this one. And then just Fox. Just Fox. Fox, no base. Yeah, absolutely, Eloa. That is spot on. That probably wouldn't print. That probably was bad enough to cause 3D printing issues. Again, you've been watching for months, Eloa, and I've never had an example to show where something looks totally normal and innocuous in ZBrush. Let's check the wireframe. And then it blows up when I bring it into Mesh Mixer. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So this fixed it. This is the before, this is the after, and now I'm going to remesh this. But that's exactly what I don't want to see. But I know how to fix it. Eloa says, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a red section before on stream. Same. It does not happen often, but that's why I like to double check. And again, it wouldn't like damage someone's 3D printer, and we test our stuff. We print it before we ever share it, so we would have caught it, but it's nicer to catch it before the print stage. Fire Elemental Fox. So there we go. And then just Fox. I don't think I have a single... It feels wild to just type in like Fox and that's it. Huh. This is almost done. Again, it's so funny that this base was a problem. Foxington the 4th. I like it. I like it a lot. Do we have any other plans for today's stream? Fox seems ready to ship. It does. I think... Okay, I'm going to take a break right after this is done exporting. And I'm going to give a very long, hard think about how long I want today's stream to be. And I might start a brand new model. Or I might start on the scatter terrain with a special project I have for a happy hour. We'll see. What is up with this topology it keeps doing? What the heck? You see this? You're just not that detailed, yo. I just want to tell you. This is crazy. This is like the simplest, ugliest little base, and it is just absolutely exploding itself. Oh my goodness. Why? You know what? We're done with you. We're going to just replace you entirely. I'm going to bring in a cloud base. It's going to have the same effect. It's still going to look gorgeous, and this mesh was just busted. Happens sometimes. Eloa, Mia, how complicated do you want this circle? ZBrush. Yes. Yeah, seriously. What the heck? All right. There we go. This is the same thing. Super swirly, super cool. Honestly, even better. Yeet. We're just deleting that one entirely. Can't believe how ridiculous that was being. This is gonna look even better. That's one thing I believe in like really strongly. If I'm gonna have to redo something, I'm going to make it better than it was before. Yeah, wise decision. Don't trust the bad base. I can't believe how insane it was being. You guys watched that. Again, I love when stuff like this happens on stream, because if you've been around for a long time, you have watched me make dozens of models, you know, the whole process. How many times does this happen? This is like once or twice a year I get something that's an absolute fluke. And I think it's really important, especially for my baby artists and students, to watch how I solve it. Because a lot of times the best answer is to just move on and just to replace it, not to rework it. which can feel very counterintuitive. Is this a Firefox joke? Yes. I'm gonna name this lots of A's. It's gonna be a screaming A. Also, can I check this? I'm gonna check this from the top, make sure this is centered. Looks good. Oh my god, the requester is going to lose their mind. What a killer model they got for their request. If you're watching me make art right now and you're like, gee, I would love to see your take on XYZ, your D&D character, you're the big bad evil guy in your campaign, whatever. That's a thing. Check out my Patreon. That's all I do, literally. I'm pretty good at it, if I do say so myself. Alright, combine. I didn't even check it for mesh errors because I was so confident in it. Let's check for mesh errors. Analysis inspector. Yep, squeaky clean. I still love how awful that base was. That was epic. And it was already like kind of ugly and low res, so I was like... It's so important to show this kind of stuff on stream because I know something like that would absolutely demoralize some of my early students. They'd be like, oh, I'm so bad at this. I can't even make a simple base. I'm like, look, sometimes software gets confused. I'm not saying that you're not ever the problem. A lot of times my students are the problem. I usually have at least one student every couple months that they send me an absolute meltdown via my Discord DM, just being like, ZBrush is so unstable, it crashes nonstop. And I'm like, what's your poly count and what are you doing? And sure as shit, they're always dealing with like a shattered mesh that's like 8 million polys and trying to use a knife brush on it. And I'm like, babe, it's you. And I know it's them because I'm like, oh hey, I know you. That's me. I did the same thing when I was learning. And again, it is quite funny because ZBrush is kind of a little shit sometimes too. All right, there we go. There's that fun render. Eloa says, yes, unironically super helpful for me to see the evil base, right? And Eloa, if that ever happens to a mesh of yours that's actually gorgeous and you sculpted and spent a long time on it, just send it to me. Save the ZTL, email it to me. I will fix it. I do know how to fix that stuff. I just didn't feel the need to do this one on stream because it was so unnecessary. Oh my goodness. People are gonna love this release. It makes me really happy. I'm just certain. I have a lot of people that love foxes on my Patreon. Obviously, like Foxy and Sean's being a couple, but like, there's a lot of y'all. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. Yes. Unsurprisingly, a huge Taylor Swift fan. No, not. Sorry. Although it says, yeah, it's been so long on my base, I'd be really sad if it was evil. It does happen. It's totally fixable. It really does not happen often. It's because I use a combination of Sculptris Pro by accident, and then I dynameshed a... So that... Okay, I'm going to tell you the answer, Eloa, because this is important. When you have a low resolution mesh, again, low res, so like, you know, like when you have a sphere... Like this is a low resolution cylinder. See this? Do not ever dynamesh this at a high res because it's going to take each one of these lines, these planes right here, and it's going to treat it as detail. It's very hard to fix. It's really annoying. And then you have made your low res super high res and unchangeable. That's what I did, and that's why it broke that mesh. Does that make sense? So when I went to decimate it, it treated all of it like detail. So I hope that's helpful. I want to make sure I demystify that as soon as possible. That way you're not like afraid of it happening to you. Sean said, dude, I would tweet if this was made into a bonus model on Kickstarter, but this is like motivation to subscribe to the Patreon. That's true. That's true. I mean, Sean, if you see this, look, Sean, you were super generous and you bought a lot of stuff on my Kickstarter. If you just wanted like a one-off model, I am known to be generous. I'm not, again, if you just like all my stuff, yeah, subscribe to the Patreon. But if you're like, oh my gosh, this one model speaks to me so much, you backed my Kickstarter for so much, I don't mind sending this one model your way. Emperor says, hey, I made the mistake with Stumpy somehow. You sure did. You sure did. Paint says, Mia, weird question, weird answer. All right, these have been uploaded. They're looking good. I'm waiting in suspense for whatever Paint's weird question is going to be. Environmental fox. And now, one of my favorite points of the stream, which is where I update the things. So here is what I'm working on. We do just have a normal fox, and I can mark all of this as finished. Yay! And then furthermore, I can also go to the request board and mark that as finished. I have to sneeze. I did not, in fact, sneeze. All right, bam, both are releasing soon. Excellent. All right, and then this did release the Fairy Godmother and the Female Centaur Artificer. Bam. Sweet, looking good. Oh God, I know I need to get the website. Listen, I'm a prideful person, but when I am problem solving, all my pride just goes right out the window. I am, again, a problem solver at heart, and that's all I really care about. So I have been uploading and doing stuff with my website manually, and then I'm like, this is stupid. So now I'm writing a script that will take information from my spreadsheet. I have like all my images embedded, all my tags auto-generated, and then I refine them after the fact. And I am finding a way to write a script that it will take that Google Drive spreadsheet and auto make posts on my WordPress site. And then also following my jet engine tags and putting them into a grid listing. It's a lot. So again, I got 600 models in, and then I'm like, I cannot do this 400 more times. I'm losing my effing mind. So now I'm making a script auto-generate for me. So it's taking longer, but it's super awesome. It's gonna be great, y'all. Paint says, when I am better, should I make a small set of bases as my first project to put on a website? Do you recommend something else? Press enter before I finish. No, you're fine. Is your goal to make money with it or just to have fun? Making a small set of bases is great. Absolutely. Yeah, here we go. Make the thing / art you wish you had, right? Exactly. If you're passionate about it, do it. Alyssa, yeah, it's so much work. Don't worry, though. It will be so worth it when you have your own shop. It will be. I'm very excited. Very excited. Hey, Reaper's here. Hello. Welcome in. We just finished the Fox, and I made a normal version and a fire version, and I just, so happy with it. Yeah, we missed you, Reaper. We had a very chaotic doors open that lasted for like 2 hours because I wanted to finish this. It was pretty much like a mini Tavern Keeper's Craft. All right, and also one of my other favorite things I do, you guys don't normally see on stream, I always take, whenever I finish a model, I put it on a sticky note, and then I pin it on the side of my desk. So as I work throughout the week, I can see these sticky notes like grow down the side of my desk. It's just a really important like visual cue for me to see the progress that I've been making, because when you work for yourself, everything feels so freaking made up sometimes. That you need to have like a very clear goal and then see the progress that you're making on those goals that you set. So I'm writing them down. Bam. First sticky note. Oh, I guess like handwriting reveal. I write very sharp and in all caps. Okay. Got one done, and the next one is just a fox. If I want these look a little more varied, I could mirror one of them. That does add a nice little bit of variation. I didn't put those in a way I won't just knock them off. There we go. So now I got the sticky note side of my desk. It's very satisfying. And at the end of the week, I stack them all up, and I throw them away. Now, I actually leave them there throughout the weekend, so that way, I'm the kind of person that I like to work. And I have a hard time not working. It's not an anxiety thing, honestly. I really love my job. And I'm not always sure if it's enough sometimes. Like, again, because it's so arbitrary when you work for yourself, how much work you want to get done. So by having this visual cue of the work that I've gotten done, I can look over, like, on a Saturday while I'm playing video games and be like, I did a lot of good work last week. And then my brain just, like, lets it go. It's very effective. Yeah. Yes, grounding your work in reality. Exactly, Eloa. Reaper just woke up. Hope it was a good sleep. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna go on break. I'll come back. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Or, like, what the rest of the stream's gonna look like. But there's still a lot of stream to come. We're only halfway through, so we're 2 hours in. I'm gonna stream for at least another 2 hours. While I'm on break, please like the stream. I super appreciate it. And, yeah, thanks for being here. This is an absolute blast. I'll be back soon. Hey y'all, welcome back. Alright, this is officially the start of happy hour. I think we're going to skip over the Tavern Keeper's Craft today, just in interest of not burning out like a dying sun. And actually something kind of fun planned today. But first, I want to see if I have any questions for my students or any DMs. Nope, we are all clear. Beautiful. Alright, let me get everything ready for this question I'm going to ask y'all. This is going to be a little peasant creative collab. All right. Saving some images here. I'm going to put them in the Discord, and I'll tell y'all what the prompt is. Just Single says I'm ready. I like it. Throw me in, coach. All right, we're ready. So this is what we're doing right now. This is what I want your guys' help with. I just put a screenshot of 4 different characters that are currently on my Kickstarter. I want to make a complementing scatter terrain piece for each one of these. These are the 4 that we have picked. So like, yeah, a human wizard, it could be anything from like a magical table to maybe a potions rack, whatever. But that's kind of that's what I want to do right now. But I want them to really like dive into what you think like the lore would be behind these characters and like a truly unique and cool scatter terrain piece. This will release to everyone on Kickstarter that backs, so people like Sean's, and it's going to release to all legendary patrons as well. So this is benefit everyone. Yeah. That Reaper, Mom, hello, not advertising himself. I thought I got him to do it a little bit. Oh, this is great. Oh yeah, hysterical. Although I have an idea for a 3D model I'd like to commission someone to do, but I don't know what to ask for prices. Eloa, that's you. You can advertise yourself there. Eloa, you're great. That's great. But yes, that's what we're working on right now. I want scatter terrain ideas that will complement these characters. So again, we have an elf raider. He kind of has like a Mad Max backstory. I'm trying so he could even have a piece of scatter terrain that's a bit more on the mechanical side. Again, we're totally open to thing different themes. It's for tabletop games, so it can be literally anything. The easiest one here, I think, is going to be the human wizard, having terrain for him. But I'm going to start brainstorming some ideas here. We'll get some ideas. It's constructive yelling, is it? All right, I'm gonna start with the human wizard. I think that's gonna be the easiest one to get one. Yeah, like bookshelves. I want something really unique. I already have a cauldron, so I'm trying not to do too many repeats either. Where do you want the ideas? In chat or in Discord? Let's put it in Discord for now so I can kind of keep them a little organized. Good question. There we go. And it doesn't really show what kind of wizard he is. I kind of gave him a little spell effect that could read as like water, smoke, whatever. He doesn't look especially spooky. He looks like a classic medieval. The sword's an interesting touch. Spell effects are always cool. I have quite a few of those. Maybe like a bookshelf that's overflowing with like grimoires and stuff. Thinking. I see you guys are cooking. We can focus on any of them right now. I'm just kind of like getting ideas going. I agree, Eloa. That would be awesome. Also, that sounds like you. You could be said requester. What if I could do some sort of floating sigils for this guy? I'm trying to think more epic than just like a cauldron, because I do have that already. Maybe like a monolith of some sort. Ooh, like magic scrolls. I'm trying to think. This could be so many different things. I see you guys are typing ideas. I love it. I love it. All right, let me go ahead and just open a folder, our new project here, and we're going to start drafting some ideas. Something overflowing with scrolls, like a suit of armor or a barrel. Ooh, I like the barrel full of scrolls. That's kind of cool. Okay. Paint says, Mia, I cast Flying Rock with runes. That could be really cool. Let me go ahead and, this is how we're going to structure this. I'm going to bring in each of these characters. That way I can have them visualized, visible as I create. What's this guy called? Human Wizard. Yeah. Interestingly, Google Drive's acting like I have never made a model by that name before. Come on. There we go. And again, I'm talking about the wizard a lot right now, but you can talk about whichever one you want or give ideas for anything. I love having you guys part of this creative process. I always end up with the best models this way. It's a hoot. A geometric artifact floating on a plinth. Think arcane. Ooh. Possible picture refs, please. Currently, I'm most interested in Just Lingle's idea of a geometric artifact floating on a plinth. I was kind of thinking like monolith-esque too. Maybe a shattered rock with runes that are turning into blades. That is super epic. I do want to make sure all of this is FDM friendly as well. That's my only catch here. Ooh, just Micah has a bunch. Ooze Warrior could have a small ooze cubes forming a slimy bridge. Ah, that's cute. Like a gelatinous bridge. Elf Raider could have a broken crate of goods being shipped. Ooh, I like that. Merchant cart-esque. Very cool. Ooh, a spell book in pedestal. That might be the winner for the human wizard. Plantier on a pedestal. Orc Gunslinger could have a demon cow skull or succulents and a cactus. Ooh, these are all fantastic. Okay, cool. I'm just starting to bring in these characters for reference. It'll just make our life easier. And again, this is all because the Kickstarter is doing so well. Thank you guys so much for supporting it, checking it out. If you haven't already, there's the link in the chat. Go check it out. It's very cool, very fun. Adding more models right now. I like that we could paint our own pages or something with an open book. Ooh, yeah. All right, this is going to be the winner for the wizard, I think. All right, I've downloaded the Ooze Warrior, got the Orc Gunslinger. Empress says, you know, these past few weeks, there has been a lack of runes. You were not wrong. All right, I have all these models downloaded. I'm gonna bring them into this scene so we can really see them up close too. Maybe like a target for target practice, like a scarecrow type of thing. That could be cool for the raider, maybe. No, we're not doing pose variations. Like the elf could be like the sitting pose in a bed of crates shaped in like a chair like Arcane, or just making the chair of crates. I could see that, but I'm not going to repose any characters. It does feel very Mad Max, which is cool to have a throne like that. Okay, that could be like Underlord, kind of like, okay. I like it. Can the orc do it? I cast 9mm, but it's like a floating gun. Nope, nothing floating. But that is hysterical. All right, bringing all these characters in, almost done. All right, here is our lineup. Let me get these nicely spaced. All right, we're gonna start with the wizard. Give them like a fun kind of purple color. Set my scene lighting, and let's go. I can tell there's just one light because I'm like, it looks boring. All right, so in setting my lighting, I like to have one that's kind of off to the side, but I always actually look at the model because sometimes it looks better from one side or the other. So this one's really clear. That gives me really good shadows. This looks kind of just blown out. I want it to be like really high contrast, and then I'll have a bounce light that's a little bit weaker and usually a color. See how much more like dynamic that looks? There we go. Yeah. Ooh, for the Orc Gunslinger, an open wooden crate filled with ammunition. That'd be really cool. I haven't seen that very often either, Scatter Terrain. I do have an open book already. So let's go ahead and start with that. Oh, I think I put it in weapons. Yeah, I sure did. Thank you guys for sharing all these creative ideas. Again, I love to see it. All right, so we have this tome here. This is my current focus, my current inspiration. I think we all love that. I'm not going to include like the mushrooms and stuff. I don't think it suits this specific character. But the rest of it I think has a lot of potential. All right, let's get sculpting. Still keep talking about ideas and stuff. Ooze Warrior could have a chest half sunken in ooze or tar. It's a classic chest, which is less interesting, but the sinking in tar adds environment. Oh, that's happening. Yep. Is that Ricky that liked that? Oh, Blue Jester. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, that's happening. All right, Ooze Warrior is confirmed, and so is the wizard. Let me get a sticky note up. I got a sticky note with letters. All right, so the human wizard, I'll just put wizard. That's gonna have the book pedestal. I can't spell pedestal. That's not right. It's close, but it is wrong. Come on. Let's get a nicer color. Pink. There's not more, it's just me. Yeah, there we go. All right, and then the ooze chest is amazing. Ooze warrior, ooze chest. And I might grab the ideas from before too. I really like those. Although this is the way we're doing terrain, I was not locked in at all. Yes, we are specifically brainstorming ideas for these characters to make complementing terrain pieces for them. So far, the wizard I have confirmed. I'm going to do a book pedestal on a pedestal, and the ooze warrior is going to have a chest sinking in ooze. So what's still open, or I'm not sure, is the orc gunslinger. Doesn't have anything yet. Tentatively, I like the crate full of ammunition a lot. And then the elf raider, I'm also not sure. I liked the idea that Paint had of like a throne. What is this? Like a throne made of crates. That's kind of cool. But here's ones that are open still. And these are not unique bases. These are individual scatter terrain pieces. They are bonus models for the Kickstarter. So here are all the models we're working with right now to get complementary scatter terrain for each one of them. Kind of helps build the story behind them, and just fun to print. It's a good way to add value to the project without taking a ton of time like designing new characters. Instead, just enriching the project that's already there. All right. So right now, I'm going to start making this pedestal. I like what Just Lingual said, where you can paint whatever you want in here potentially. So I'm actually going to remove the runes. I'm going to leave it blank. Oh, a gun rack or a cart? Okay. Oh, a cart full of stolen loot tipped over. That's very similar to Micah's idea. The fact that both of y'all have recommended that, I think is going to be the one to go. Like some sort of stolen loot, that's going to be really cool. Can you guys get me pictures of what that would look like? All right, so I have the book, and I want there to be a bookmark because I think that's really cool. So to do that, I'm going to use curve strap snap. And I'm going to make sure that the top of it locks into place so I can move it around. So I'm going to go to stroke, curve functions, somewhere in here. I never remember what it is. Curve, lock start. So I'm making a bookmark right now. And I locked the start because I knew it would twist and be weird and not behaved. There we go. Split mass points. You have to know what secondary details are going to add the most personality and like bang for buck. And I knew in this case it's going to be a bookmark. How did I know that? I guess because it kind of like places it in a world. It feels like the book is being interacted with and used. Could we have stuffed animals that have the wound of what the attacks they deal are? Like the orc is bullet holes, mage is partly burnt, elf is sliced. That's really, really fun. I want them to be more specific to each like single character, but God, that's a really fun idea. That would bring all of these together. But I'm looking for more like on the nose that's specific to that character. I mean, the target practicing is a cool idea that could absolutely work though. Why do we have a picture of what a loot looks like? Who is the loot for, Foxy? I do like loot. Oh, you're being silly. I get it now. Because of stolen loot. You're like, this is what a loot looks like. Oh my god, Foxy. That almost went over my head. I'm shortening this up quite a bit because, again, I want this FDM friendly. So I don't want this like really thin bookmark I have to deal with. I want to make sure it's kind of laying on the page. I'm kind of finding a way that's going to make this the easiest to print while still making sense. There we go. And now let's add a little edge to this. Ooh, I don't like that it did that. Look at this disaster topology. What are you doing? Oh, because it's the curve brush. That's why. Unimpressed. go to the lowest subdiv. That's why. I will add that little like tongue piece to it later. Stop being ridiculous. There. ZBrush is like, no. All right, we're gonna extrude a couple edge loops here just so this has a bit more substance to it. Extrude poly loop. It's gonna do that silly thing on the end, but I knew it was gonna do that. I can just mask it and then it won't. There we go. I'm like, I have a solution to this problem. There we go. And now I'm going to Dynamesh this. Nope. Perfect. Substantial. We'll be happy on an FDM printer or a resin printer. Oh, I know, right? The curve brush is so silly. All right, we have a book. Now let's make the stand for the book. I am going to just put a sphere in here and then immediately come down to initialize and then Q cylinder. I want it to be vertical. There we go. And now we're gonna model a cool little stand for this. I want it to be pretty substantial. So I wanna make this as large as possible without looking absolutely ridiculous. All right, I'm gonna turn off perspective, which I usually do in hard surface modeling, insert some edge loops, and just get some cool shapes going. Okay, I immediately had an idea. So I'm gonna use this subtool here, I'm gonna duplicate what's currently there, and then instead of modeling off of it, I'm just gonna make this a new subtool to have the base, because I think it'd be really fun if I extruded some loops on this, see, like that. And now with this piece that I have, I bet it'd look really cool if I twisted it. So I'm gonna subdivide a few times, turn off symmetry, and then go to twist. See? It's gonna look really arcane, really fancy. Subdivide a few times so it's nice and smooth. Make it much skinnier. There we go. That's already looking really fancy. Cool. Now let's keep working on the base here. Ooh, an elf raider, a tree stump with a dagger in it. On the ground next to it be an open bag of coin, maybe a rolled up map in there as well. That's just a cool little thing. Yeah, that's probably me the winner. So for the elf, we have two ideas I'm kind of in between on, which is gonna be the knife tree stump coin scene or the stolen loot. I mean, that whole thing looks like stolen treasures and just cool stuff. I like that. And the gunslinger, what did I like? The gun rack's a cool idea. The box full of ammunition's a really cool idea too. Yeah, we're gonna do ammo crate. Can you guys get me a picture of a Western looking ammo crate? I don't want it looking like modern military. I want it to be like, you know, something out of like Red Dead Redemption 2. If someone could just find one of the ammo crates from Red Dead 2, that'd be great, actually. I put this right here. That's what we're doing. I'm going to go through the modeling pretty quickly, so if you guys have any questions on how to do this, please let me know. It's all just Z-Modeler brush goodness. A lot of beveling, a lot of inserting edge loops, that kind of stuff. But if you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to do it, right? So I don't mind you guys asking. Right now I'm going to use radial symmetry to allow me to put some ornaments on this really quickly. I don't want there to be 8, that's too many. We're gonna come down to 4. I'm gonna click on this ornament here and click and drag, just like that. Obviously I'm gonna kind of see what looks best Maybe something like this. Something that already complements the current shape I'm working on. That's kind of perfect. Wow, gorgeous. Cool. When you know you found the shape that you like, don't overcomplicate it. Just be happy and let it happen. Runes on the base. I do like that idea. I went with little decorative ornaments instead, but I totally could have done runes as well. So I'm just adding little bits of tiers and levels here, just some small details. Gorgeous. And then when I crease it, I want to make sure that's going to hold all of these lines. I don't mind rounded either. No, I want the shape. So to have more control over the way it's creased, I can use my Z Modeler brush, go to crease, edge loop complete, and just make sure that I'm grabbing these lines here. There we go. Beautiful. We're definitely going to finish this one today. Here we go, some ammo crates. Thank you guys. Awesome. So that's like the outside of it. This, I think, is a little more fitting for what I'm looking for. Yeah, pretty much about the same over time. Yeah. Very cool. Thank you, guys. Yeah, Z Modeler brush stuff happening. Again, if you have any questions, please ask. The only reason why I'm not narrating my whole process the way I do with organics is because it's so much button clicking, and I just think it'd be like headache inducing to listen to if I just narrate every button click. But if someone needs to hear that, please ask away. All right, here's how the pedestal is looking so far. I think this looks weird and a little chunky right now, but I've got ways to make this look a little more elegant. I'm going to take this, shrink it down to half, stretch it, and I think I can put two of them side by side and twist them and get a really cool effect. I think. I'm actually not sure. Yes, I can. Ha 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 ha. Cool. Eloa, did you see that? I thought that this looked a little chunky, so I pretty much just duplicated it, made it really skinny, and then there's two. I'm still working on it though. Because depending how you do this, it looks kind of like intestines. And that's not what we're wanting right now. We're wanting something fun and elegant. And definitely not intestines. I also think it'd be cool if I can use my Move Topological brush to possibly separate these at the top to better support the book. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, what is this? What is this happening? It's trying to grab on two different polygroups, I think. I'll just do auto groups. Nope, it's still stupid. How about I subdivide once? What is this? It works sometimes. No. I'm gonna reset all brushes and try again. Oh look, now it's fixed. Cool. Ooh, a book stand made of intestines. having a lot of fun playing with this design, kind of seeing what I want to do with it. Need some nice secondary forms on that support post, like some asymmetrical curving. I mean, having the two tubes, that is a secondary form. But yes, we are doing the things. I agree. Any more pictures? No. I also need to make the actual book stand really quick. That way it's not just like these little noodles sticking to the book. All right, let's go ahead and make that flat post before I forget. All right, to do that, I'm going to just append any shape. It doesn't really matter. The basic cube that it gives you, I'm not a fan of. So always come down here to initialize and use cube instead. It's just better, cleaner topology. It's a lot easier to work with. All right, I'm going to flatten it, rotate it at 45 degrees, and kind of fit it behind the book. There we go. I'm being very careful not to mess with the gizmo right now. Also, when did you get off-centered? Get over here. All right, and this is gonna kinda have a little lip on it for the book to stick on. Hey, Yoni's here, hello, hello. There we go. Foxy says, Empress, the best book stands are made of bones of my dead enemies, and the best books are bound in their skin. There's our bit of existential dread for the day. I was like, are we not going to get it today? Extrude, polyloop. There we go. Something nice and substantial. And I can put some ornamentation and filigree on this, of course. I'm a big fan of that. That looks good. What can I do with this? Thinking of a different shape I can have here. Doesn't have to be terribly complex. Just a little something. Honestly, just having that ornament on the back is probably interesting enough. Oh yeah, okay. Neat. And of course I want some more of that filigree detailing on this as well. Also, Eloa, I just realized that you are Eloa the Revengeful Tavern God. That looks nice. We'll do the same shape at the top as well. We're gonna add some light wood texturing to this. I was like using this alpha. Just make sure not to go too heavy-handed with it, otherwise it doesn't look the best. This alpha being like, I've never worked. I've never once looked good. I'm like, yes, you have. Do the thing. There we go. I just want some wear and tear. Goodness. There we go. And I'm making this quite dramatic, so that way it will be FDM friendly as well. It'd be very funny if I made these lovely scattertrain pieces for my Kickstarter project. And they were not FDM friendly, because everything else is. All right, now that I have these really nice shapes here, I'm gonna see if I can kind of bow the wood to create some other fun shapes. I definitely like having that a bit thinner. Reaper, I just want some wear and tear. Is that too much to ask for? Exactly. Look how much better that looks, tall. Very cool. And again, I want this to be as like chunky as possible. I want it to be very, very easy on FDM. Having both of those makes that really cool spiral shape. If I get rid of one, it only happens half as often. Crazy. Very cool. Let's get these Dynameshed. There we go. Because it was like a million points and it didn't need to be. So we're going to finish this on stream. Intestine support. Stop calling it that. I hate when I tell you guys something stupid that I see and then you're like, now you see it too. I fixed it. Doesn't look like intestines anymore. It's just a one-time thing. I would love to get this mirror and welded, but I think I have it on this confusing curve, so it's gonna do that. Oh, that is interesting information for me to know later, but not now. Why can't you mirror and weld based on this axis? I feel like you can. You're just not. That's okay. Oh, I'm being dumb. I know how to do this. There we go. Haha. I figured it out. I just thought it'd be cool to have that emblem mirrored again. I was getting very confused of where I was at in space, but I figured it out. Now let's move this around until this is nice and centered. I was like, no, this looks great. Just now I want to see it in testing Gross Grim Dark Book stand. Wouldn't that be awesome? Looking good. This definitely matches the character, and I'm very happy about it, because that was the whole point. Ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, it did that thing again, Eloa. Look at that. Look at that topology. Why'd you do that? I don't know why I did that. Okay, I don't care. Dynamesh, I will win. Haha. And because I didn't have that issue where I Dynameshed this when I was low res at a high Dynamesh resolution, it's going to reprocess no problem. Nice. Looking good. I don't know if Husband is watching right now, but Ricky, if you're watching and if you're looking at this and having concerns about FDM-ness, speak now or forever hold your peace. I know you're able to figure it out, but if I can make something easier on you, let me know. Ugh, what is that? Why is there a clip out of it? You guys see this? What the heck? Okay. Why is there just like a hole in this? I don't understand. Okay, I'm mad about that, but I can just mirror weld and it will fix itself. Stop. There. Ha. Is there now just a little hole in it? Yes. Why can't I have nice things? Come here. Ricky says this looks good. Sweet. You look good. Come here. Oh, now there's two of them. I've just made the problem twice as bad. What the? No, you were a simple terrain piece. You're not allowed to do this. Fine. Fine. This is what we're gonna do. There. Ha. So stupid. And then I'm gonna duplicate it, and you're not gonna move over 2 inches. That was weird. And then I'm gonna clip this off the top, and put it back together, and it'll be like nothing ever happened. There. I don't know if that was the dumbest thing. It had to do when I extruded a poly loop at some point, and I didn't notice that it did a V cutout on the bottom. I fixed it. Empress is laughing at my pain. Emperor says commission work sounds like so much fun. It can be if you have a good commissionee, or it can be hell. Commissions are so funny; they can really go either way. And sometimes even having great clients are exhausting in their own way. Honestly, commissions are an interesting animal. We're almost done with this. I just knew we needed a little bit of something filigree on the edge here. Oh yeah, that's fancy. Yeah, Ricky, if you're still watching, like none of this is a problem here. Like, I don't know, because maybe I should make the book more open. Ricky is so chill. Ricky is not picky. I'm looking for problems. I don't know. Ricky just worked so hard in his Kickstarter and does such a good job. Like, I don't want to like add these little bonus Skyrim models and then they're like the worst thing to have ever happened. Like this little tab probably has no business just sticking out. I can just, here, I got an idea. Oh, I love this. I love that all of y'all are just bullying Eloa with love right now. It's great. Also, I found a way to make this even easier to 3D print, and I'm really happy about it. Because the only thing I was worried about was the actual book tab itself, and now they have it coming down onto the book stand. It still looks just as good, no problems. What are we talking about in the chat right now with passive income? What are you guys even talking about? It's only passive income if you don't have to do anything. If there's setup, that's fine. But making custom one-off models is not passive income. I mean, totally, stonks. It's that easy. Yoni says, my bad for being inactive. This month was a roller coaster for real. Luckily, it's July. Hopefully it's an easier month for you. Although it says, Mia, Foxy is casting dark magic at me to try and create a grim dark book stand. That's true. That would be a fun little project. It also fit the prompt for this art festival. But so do all your other projects with Micah that you're getting paid for. I think Foxy is just being silly for the hell of it. Ah, this is gorgeous. All right. And then just for extra measure, I'm gonna do a funny little thing on the back of this because people are gonna break this model. I know it, and it's gonna annoy me. So to make it less peasant breakable, I'm gonna take this little stand piece right here. I'm gonna use bend arc, a little bendy bend like this. And then I'm going to stick it on the side here, kind of like, what are they called in like architecture? Like a flying buttress or something. Anyway, that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. It's going to look really cool. You're not going to see it from the front of the model at all. It's just going to make this little detail that sticks to the back of this book on a pedestal. Does this have a real name? And then mirror and weld. And then we're not going to have this little section here. It's hanging off of it. Don't worry. There we go. Something like that. It's going to make this a lot sturdier. Whenever you have a single contact point, people they're gonna break it, and they're gonna be like, they're not gonna mean to. They're gonna be really sad when they do, but like they're gonna break it. That makes it rock solid. Also makes it a little bit fancier looking. There you go. So, Eloa, I think you saw that, but I saw this, and even though it's super chunky, I'm like, someone's gonna break that. Bam. It doesn't compromise the design in any meaningful way. It just makes it stronger. You pretty much can't even see how it affects the silhouette, which I like. Hey, Ian's back. What up? How is everyone? We're doing super good. We're making a little book pedestal for our wizard friend here. Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure it's called a flying buttress is what that's called. Having this little, like, I mean, it's usually for like cathedrals in a building. But yeah. So when I was initially designing this little tube here, it looked a lot like twisting intestines. It didn't look very elegant at all. And Eloa is kind of like our esteemed, grim, dark, eldritch consumer enjoyer here. So my peasants are trying to inspire Eloa to work on something like that. Eloa has like a whole lineup of like commissions they're super excited to work on. If they get to it, great. All right. Well, I think that's done. I have things I could clean up, and I'm gonna flatten the pages, maybe a touch here. But this is supposed to just be like a nice little bonus model I can have on my Kickstarter right now. So I don't need to go, oh, it's not even touching the book. Oh no, it is. Never mind. There we go. All right, sweet. We got our first one done. Nice. Let's go ahead and merge this down and then get this all ready for 3D printing. Gorgeous. All right, looking good. Delete any funny artifacts and whatnot. Let's bring this down to probably 75,000 polys. Man, it has been a good week of art. I know it's only Tuesday, but I don't know. Yeah, creating art kind of comes in ebbs and flows. It has nothing to do with inspiration or motivation. Like, you do your job. I will say this has been an especially easy week to do my job, and that feels good. Sweet. All right, now let's bring in or you know, this is a scaled model. There we go. Because I might need to add yet another little base to this, because this is 25 millimeters right now. So having this is closer to like what, 15. That's very knock-overable, so I kind of do want this to be as close to an inch as possible, but now I realize that makes the book absolutely gigantic. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make the book normal sized, something kind of like that. I'm gonna stare at it, and I'm gonna think, do I want to make that bigger? I'm looking at minis on my table right now, and I'm thinking like, if I want to bulk that up a little bit. That's pretty good. It's gonna be so spindly though. I'm okay with that. No, that's gonna be good. Just making sure that nothing is too thin. Thinking, okay. I thought about it. And I am going to make the book proportionally smaller to the rest of it. There we go. Let's bring the book size down by about 25%. And that will allow me to make the entire piece larger. Yes, that's where it's at. Eloa says, oh to Ian, yeah, this week at M3DM, we worked on a lovely fox model and also created an armor set from scratch. Oh man, that armor set came out so nice. I'm really proud of that. Yeah, that was last week. We spent 3 days on that, which is, again, is not my normal workflow at all, but I had a really cool commission request, not commission, Patreon request. I don't take commissions. And I just knew it was so worth it. So now I have an entire folder here that I haven't organized yet of all of these low and high detailed assets, and it feels really good. All right, this is going to be our terrain side project. The heists are not speaking good to you all today. Good luck. I know I don't have the odds very kind right now. All right, that looks better. So I made that about 25% smaller. Now let's rescale before we remesh. I know better. Because I don't mind if it's ridiculously tall. Just want to make some sense. There we go. You know, something that I'm going to try too, because again, I really want this to be a nice, easy print. I'm going to center my gizmo and then see if I can taper the bottom of it just a little. There we go. Perfect. That has the same silhouette effectively while being a lot sturdier. Good, good. Sweet. For my esteemed collection, I did this mechanical owl that was on a perch like this, and the perch ended up being so small, and I always regretted the way that I didn't make it just a little easier to play with, so I'm glad I kind of took my time here and made these bases a little more comparable to each other. Perfect. All right, let's get this merged down, and we're done. Oh, NDAs. Yep. I already mentioned, so Ian can't talk much about his work right now because of NDAs, but I've been training a few companies and colleges for ZBrush as well, as a lot of back-end prep for new features. Oh, that's very, very exciting. And again, if I could try this out one day, great. No pressure, but I'm excited. Currently sculpting the iPad as I hang here for a bit. Very nice. And I'll show the fox, and I'll recap the armor from last week too after I finish this out. Because Yoni hasn't been here in a hot minute either. So ideally, each day during happy hour, we'll finish a new terrain piece in this like kind of 30-minute segment or so. And then we'll have a bunch of cool new models to add to the Kickstarter project I got going. Fox said, I spent my allowance on a tapper pet, and it was very appreciated. That was really fun. Yesterday, again, was a day of foxes. It was just really fun. Yeah, Yoni, for real, you have been swamped as well. I hope this is an easier month for you. Sometimes it can be fun to be busy, but only when it's busy on your own terms, you know what I mean? Otherwise, it just kind of feels like you're drowning. That's usually how the holidays turn out for me. Oh, here's a little a little preview of those foxes. We'll look at those all nice and pretty in a second. There we go. Gigantic. Mega book. You know, I'm actually going to open up my file reference just to make sure that this is the right size next to a human, because the fox I made gigantic on purpose, because technically it's not a fox, it's a fire elemental in the shape of a fox. So I was able to really kind of stretch the proportions there. Okay, I labeled it a bunch of Z's. I know that's chaotic. Where did I put it? There it is. Hey, it's all nicely organized in my Google Drive. Don't judge my downloads folder. Yeah, that looks good. We'll call it an enchanted book pedestal. Oh, I can spell pedestal today. And that way I don't have to have like a base and no base version. It's all good to go. All right, is this the fancy female knight, or do I have the poly paint all destroyed? Yeah, I don't think I managed it. I didn't keep all the poly paint as I post-processed it, because this is actually ready for character creator right now. But I might have an earlier version of when I finished this. Here we go. This is like the spin around. Now I can actually, there we go. That's what we worked on last week, which was a huge step up for me as far as just putting together like something that's cohesive and hard surface. I feel like this year has just been the year of me working on stuff that I'm not good at, which is exhausting, but really fun, honestly. Because I'm making progress. I guess it wouldn't be as fun if I didn't get a good result. But no, it's been nice. It's been very nice. Foxy says, Mia, is the book enchanted or is the pedestal enchanted? Good question. Both. And yeah, Ian said, yes, recap, please. Yes, this was from last week. It was a lot of fun. I was able to show people how to use micropoly, which a lot of people in the 3D printing space don't know that you can use micropoly and make it 3D printable. It's not so much a resolution issue. It's because when you know this, Ian, when you make micropoly like an actual mesh, it's super, super small. And if you don't have something for it to grab onto, it's not 3D printable, or at least not nicely. So I showed them just to make 2 copies, one where you have micropoly activated and the one that you don't, that low res that you have, just close holes and then merge them together. So yeah, take your 2 subtools, your copies, and merge. You know what I'm saying. It sounds like probably gobbledygook to... But anyway, it was fun to show people like how to make that 3D printable, and it was fun. In this quick save, we didn't detail the shoe all the way, but you can use your imagination. Ian says, oh wow, that's so cool. Thank you. I'm really, really proud of it. I think it was during the stream last week. It was so funny. Someone asked a question on how to like retain poly paint to Blender. And I was like, oh, I have a video that I know explains it really well. And I grab it on YouTube. It's your video. I'm like, yep, that's right. Like, I just thought it was funny. It was like a full circle moment. Yeah, you can even modify or create your own micropoly meshes. Okay, I don't know how to do that actually. I actually mentioned that on stream because the micropoly meshes that are already in ZBrush are pretty robust and pretty good. And someone, actually no one asked, I was just talking and I was like, I think you can make your own, but I'm not sure how. Thanks for confirming that. So I can look at creating my own, because I know there's a ton of videos and resources out there. Create custom. Sweet, thank you. Because I want to use that to make my own leaf micropoly, to make like leaf armor. I've done it before by hand, like a peasant, and I'd like to use micropoly next time. Sweet. Ian says, oh, hit me up later and I'll show you. Oh, thank you. I'd appreciate that too. Yeah, I do need to do more recaps, Eloa. You are correct. So yeah, this was last week. And the whole point of this request was actually to make a centaur. It was a centaur artificer. So I made a full set of armor instead, first, because I knew this was going to be a ton of work, so I might as well make it a human. And then horsify it. So the finished centaurs end up looking like this. And yes, there'll be a human and a horse version on Patreon, but this is what the request was actually for. So if you're not familiar, artificers are pretty much like a tinkerer class. They can make their own stuff. So that's why she has this grenade launcher on her arm. It's very like Metroid Samus-esque. Pretty fun. But I was very proud of this. This is a fun one. The requester mentioned they wanted to have armor like head to hoof, and I could not help myself because I was like, I don't know if I'm biased, I have a horse, but I'm like, where would you put armor? The only place you can put armor on horse legs is on the cannon bones, which is right here. This is like the only spot on their legs that doesn't bend. Everything else is constantly bending. So if I had infinite time in the world, I would have put more armor on the cannon bones, but I'm still really happy with the way that this turned out. Making the centaur I didn't actually do on stream because I took Thursday, Friday off to do a bunch of mundane chores like going to the bank. So yes, it does have this really cool spine mechanical detail, which I use a lot of references from Horizon Zero Dawn to get that. That was a lot of fun. All right, so that was last week. And then this week we worked on the fox. We started it yesterday. So let's kind of look at some snapshots here where we started, because again, they look really cursed in the beginning. Here's our little fox base mesh that we started with. The original base mesh is actually from Rowena Frenzel. I have that actually named the subtool that. Again, I'm gonna put that in the chat. She's been busy. She had like an entire like baby and stuff, so I don't think she's been doing a whole lot recently, but she's still awesome. Please look her up. She's very, very kind. I've only spoken with her a few times, but she was just an absolute delight. And she has a really good base mesh pack that's just fun to work with. I made some adjustments to it. I think this is hers, and then this is some of my adjustments. Anyway, we started with that, and then we started sculpting this fox, which I found out was quite difficult. Fox faces are goofy, so here's a funny, and there's me trying to be like, oh, what are shapes? What is face? It's got kind of like pimple fur going on right now. Again, I highly recommend having this pimple fur technique instead of just blanketing it with high detail fur. It will look more organic when you're done with it. You just gotta trust the process. But yeah, we did a lot of work on the body, and there's the head finally starting to come together. I went for a more stylized look and really, really heavy on the fur detailing because it's actually a fire elemental in the shape of a fox. So I went really heavy with the fur, so that way any fur chunk here I could then use later to kind of pull off a flame shape, which ended up being really, really helpful. So all of those. And then of course, my plan was like to do like an easy pose. And I have a poster behind me. Here, I have to show you guys. I have this poster behind me of this really cool pose. And so this is the pose we went for because I was like, I literally see it every day. It's really cool. It was very difficult. But that's why it's good to stream. Okay, I'm back. So we began that posing process and it ended up looking like... Oh, we did 2 versions today too. I don't think any of these have poly paint with them because I kind of like destroyed it as I created. But it ended up looking like this. Really, really happy with it. Very fancy looking. And yeah, no poly paint on that main fox, but that's okay. That was a fun one. And I made sure to make a version of this that was just like a normal fox without flames, because as niche and cool as it is, I imagine someone wants their fox not on fire. Yeah, I did see that Wild's got an update, Yoni. I need to play again. Hey, Sator's here. Hello, hello. And what did the fox say? Get out. No, I'm joking. We had a lot of those jokes yesterday too. Yeah, I had just a great time with this. The biggest area that I'm proud of is just the overall flow of the model. The biggest area for improvement are the feet. The paws are fine. Don't look at them. But it's one of those things you have to really kind of decide what is the most important part of the model. And for this, it was definitely the flow. So I had a lot of fun. This S curve here was everything. I mean, it's more than an S curve. It kind of just keeps on going. There's like one here and then a C curve at the top, really. But anyway, this was just so much fun to work on. the Patreon requester definitely got a lot more than they bargained for, as did the person that requested the centaur. I kind of have a habit of over-delivering. Oh, it just makes me happy. Especially because when I was working on this yesterday, getting the face put together, I was not certain how I was going to figure out the face. It just was not looking quite right. But I kind of revisited it after the fact and it came together. There is that one with the nature base. Oh, it has the fire going through it too. So you can actually kind of see how I actually used Sculptris Pro to get these flames. It was really, really simple, and I'm surprised I haven't used it more often. I finally docked it onto my UI, so that's always a good sign. A mango tapper pet. No, I haven't done that yet. Oh my goodness. I think that's everything we worked on in the last week or so. It's really just the knight, the fox, and then we did that pedestal just now. If I'm forgetting anything, let me know. What is this grim dark pedestal? This is, okay, this just happened. I was working on a simple, normal, enchanted book on a pedestal. But when I was creating it, this little twisty, fancy part kind of looked like, okay, it really looked like intestines. It looked really grim dark. And I was like, no, that's not what we're doing. But Foxy thinks that'd be cool. And I'm trying to like bully, encourage Eloa into making it. We'll see. I thought it was intestine. You guys are just saying this to mess with me. Stop it. You guys are goofy. The intestines were Mia idea. It's true. That's true. That's what it looked like, briefly. But there you go, Yoni. You're all caught up. Yoni is also cheering on Loa. Alright, let me upload this pedestal thing before I forget. I don't even know where to put this right now. I'll put this in current work. These will be terrain bonus models. Again, these are all meant for my Kickstarter, but because the Kickstarter collection was based on models available to legendary patrons, if you're on Patreon, you're going to get them too. It will not be extra money. It just included. There we go. Ooh, it sounds like Sean's might have commissioned Eloa. They do have a Ko-Fi. Eloa is a delight. If you guys need 3D art, commission Eloa. If you guys need 2D art, commission Reaper. Yeah, Eloa, you can definitely look into that, like selling STLs and selling models. I actually have a call after Matt today with Frat Girl. We're going to be talking about that. So I've been talking about that a lot with different students. I'd be more than happy to do that with you too. All right, I think this is going to wrap up the stream today. Let's go ahead and, oh, I get another sticky note then too. We're moving to last call. Don't mind me clicking buttons. Enchanted book. You know, I'm surprised I don't misclick buttons on my stream deck more often. We're good. Sailor says, Mia, when you talk to Rat Girl, make sure to tell her I said cats are better than dogs. Will do. Well, this is the end of the stream. If you guys have any questions, now is the time to ask them. My students were pretty low maintenance today, so if you guys, I don't think I had any assignments or anything to review for y'all, so now's the time. Ask questions. I can do a little demo. Yesterday I had a bunch of assignments to review, and then I did a slime sculpting demo, another Z-Sketch demo, which is the best, and something else. Fur. So yes. Ooh, Reaper just shared some art. Let's go look at it. Reaper's always doing cool stuff too. Oh, old lady critique is appreciated. No critique. I love her personally. She's adorable. It won't let me zoom in without my face being in the way. There we go. Always with the little tennis ball rocker. Oh, she's precious. I like the color palette a lot. I like that the nose has a different color to it. I think he did a good job with the mouth too. She looks sweet without looking like scary and demonic. Because like these crease lines can make models or any art look a little, not just old, but grungy. Yeah. Foxy. Paint. Mia, can you critique the thing I sent for the project assignment and what is needed to make it from a leaf shield to a dragon scale shield? Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you wanting a 1, 2, 3 level of critique? 2 is balanced, 3 is chill, and 1 is like super severe. This is the shield we're talking about. I know I'm new, but I want the points. All right, sounds good. So the biggest issue here is the way that you approach the construction of this was just, it was flawed. So you were going to result in a flawed model. You would have had to put in an immense amount of effort to get this looking super clean because of the way that you approached it. Yeah. So what you should have done here, again, I see you're at 1 million points, which is just, no. I'm actually just going to do a small demo for you here so you know the way that you should have approached this. Again, the biggest issue is not so much your design, it has to do with your approach because you tried to hand sculpt this instead. And that's why you got these really kind of like wobbly details or like edges here that makes it look like a leaf shield instead of a metal shield, right? So let's go ahead and let me just show that to you, the way that you should have approached this. So the first thing I'm going to do is just append a plane, just so I can demo what this is supposed to look like. You're going to want to have a single-sided poly. This is actually a little too high res, honestly. Let's make my life easier. I'm going to turn on symmetry. I'm going to hold down option. Again, we're using the Z modeler brush. And I'm going to just grab a little square right here. And I'm going to hold Command-Shift-Click so I just have this plane. There you go. We have 9 points. That's it. Super, I think you had 1.1 million when you finished. I'm starting with 9. Like that's how simple you should be going here. All right. And then it looks like the shape here, you want kind of like a normal kite shield. Again, there's no thickness here at all. So when I turn it, you can't even see it. If that's jarring for you, you can turn on double, which is located under display properties, double. So that way it still shows up. Take your move brush and get your shape from here. See? That took me like no time. And that is like super clean of a kite shield shape. Now to add thickness, I will go to dynamic. Take your smooth subdiv to 1. Add a little bit of thickness to that. There you go. Now click apply. From here, you can start adding some details and some beveling. I think it would be smart to inset an edge here. So I'll go to inset polygroup island, click and drag. And now I can extrude that poly loop on the side. Extrude poly loop. There you go. So it's already looking a lot more detailed. When I subdivide, it's going to round off into nothingness. So you'll want to click on crease so that we don't lose that. You can crease manually by using the Z modeler brush, holding spacebar over an edge and crease. Or you can simply go to your tool geometry subpalette and click it there as well. All right, so now we have that. it looks like you wanted to have a crease down the front of it too. You can use your mask pen, mask a little center line here. Oh yeah, don't forget this too. When you subdivide, sometimes it doesn't grab the crease on the side right here, so you get this like tearing effect. So you will want to come in with the Mahler brush and make sure you're creasing that edge right here. Otherwise it kind of falls over itself. All right, there you go. So now I can subdivide. From here, mask that little edge if you wanted that little shape there. And you can kind of just pull that forward. I know it's like really sloppy, but you get the idea. Another thing you can do is make sure you don't have subdivision levels. Click on your little center icon, the gear, and then bend arc. And that's how you can get that nice curved shape to your shield. Again, notice I am not sculpting this at all. I am modeling this. There we go. So now we have this shape, and I can take this, hold down Command, click and drag. You can get that layered effect. All right. I hope that wasn't too intense. So this is what you created in an hour and a half, you mentioned, and this is what I did in like, I don't know, like 5 minutes. And I'm able to do that not because I've been doing it for a long time, but it's because my approach was the right approach for this, which is using modeling, not using sculpting. Was that helpful? So usually with like a level 1 critique, I will just say everything that's wrong with it. But in this case, it was your approach that was wrong. So instead of critiquing what you have, that'd be silly. I'm going to show you how to do it correctly. How's that? The chat is all over the place. I love like we have sweet paint set 120% helpful. Heck yeah. I aim for a good 80% helpful, so anything above that's amazing. Foxy, Mia, you can do that because you're just better. No, I can do that because I have failed more times than Paint has even tried yet. That's why. You want to see some bad armor? Let me show you guys some of my early stuff. I'm so glad that was helpful though, Paint, and I'm really happy I was able to pretty much construct the same shape that you did, but quickly. Foxy, sorry, very unhelpful comment. No, it was just dry humor. You're fine. If you were brand new, I'd be like, oh my god. But no, like, you're Foxy. You're cool. We know you. Paint, pretend like your feelings were hurt. That was a great question, Paint. Does anyone else have any quick demos here? I know we're in last call, so the stream's like over, but there you go. That's the comment I like. A master has failed more than a student has ever tried. Yep. I fail a lot. Many times. Something that's hard to overcome when you are learning how to model is that sometimes shapes that you think that are fundamental, like the fact that this shield is curved, is actually the last thing you do. You construct it flat, then you curve it. It doesn't mean you can't construct a thing with curves right away. It just depends what you're working on. There we go. Paint has died. Their feelings are hurt. Oh no, how could you? No. Thank you, Paint. And there you go. Satyr had to smite you, Foxy, for very obviously hurting Wolf's feelings. If you can't tell, we're being super sarcastic. You're great. I think that's the first time that Foxy's been put in timeout. Ray's not here, so we have to give somebody a hard time, Foxy. Smoteth? You've been smitedeth? Smoteth? Smote? Yeah. I don't like either one of those. Me neither. All right, any other questions about modeling and techniques and that kind of stuff? I've found usually that if something feels very difficult to achieve in ZBrush, your approach is probably wrong, which has been a really hard pill for me to swallow because I'm just like, but I'm doing my best. These are the tools that I know. Like the first time I tried to do chainmail by myself. My God. Oh, it's not the first time that we've muted Foxy as a joke. Oh, okay. Well, it's still funny. There we go. Smitten? How long is the timeout? You're back. Smited. Smited. All right, I don't think we have any coherent or useful topics right now. We're just talking at this point. Okay, awesome. In that case, I will leave you guys until tomorrow. Again, thank you so much for hanging out. I do want to share this little crunchy analytic with you guys. Our live streams hang out around 15 to 20 viewers the whole time, which is amazing because my goal is 10. But we have a lot of people and regulars that come in and out during the stream. We are regularly reaching over 150 people every day, which is like mind-boggling to me. My entire high school graduating class was 300, so that's really cool to me. Paint says, ooh, timestamp? Yes, we are currently at the 3-hour 45 mark for you to review later. So 3:45 or 3:40. Oh, good. Micah just put in their Grim Fiction for the Summer Art Fest prompt. Nice. Very nice. All right, y'all. I'm going to see you tomorrow around same time, as early as 11 a.m. Eastern time, as late as 1. And I'll see y'all then. Okay? Bye.